you should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Good morning. Good morning. I was delayed again because I was trying to reply, Anders, to what you said. I hope not. I hope that they just maybe ran away and are either back home or on their way back home. It's really sad. I try to update that video at least once every 2 weeks. I try to do it weekly, but sometimes I don't have time. That one's pretty new though. Yeah, I hope that getting those faces out here of them children, maybe if you see them, you could be the one to say something and help bring them home. Hello, Christina. Welcome. I haven't seen you here before. Oh, that's such a sweet thing to say. Thank you. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you about somebody. There is a person. I don't really watch his channel because I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but his name is Arctic Fox, and he puts out information about missing children a lot. That's a really good place to go to look for that kind of stuff. But I get my stuff from the website, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and then I screenshot it and edit it, like cut them down to make the video. It's nice to meet you, Christina. Welcome to the Speculating Family. Jen says, okay, so we're talking about the interview. I am getting that pulled up right now. I'm trying to skip the commercials. Okay, I've got it up, so I'm going to pull it up so you guys can see it, and we will go ahead and jump right in. I did put a post out yesterday that has a video of a lady in the area in Leicester County where the judge and the sheriff thing is going on. And I was going to try to talk about it today, but I don't think I should do like 2 streams in one. You know what I mean? I should try to probably focus on this since it's a long video, and I'm sure there's plenty to talk about. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing that video that I put on my community post and looking more into missing people in the area. That woman, her dad was like murdered. It's a good one. If you want to watch that on my community post after we get done. So with that, I'll go ahead and make this full screen and we will get started. I don't know if y'all have seen about Hurricane Melvin that's hit, but it's pretty bad. So send prayers out to those people if y'all don't mind. Thank you so much. This is Jennifer Soto's immunity deal. This one's from April.
Good morning. We are at the State Attorney's Office in Kissimmee. It's 8:57 a.m. It is April 18th, 2024. I am William J. I am the Division Chief for the Homicide Unit. With me is Danielle Pinnell, also from the Homicide Unit in Kissimmee. Can the detectives identify themselves?
Detective Mark Morris.
Detective Kyle Smallwood.
And with us is
Jennifer Soto.
with your attorney,
Matthew Spark.
All right. We went over some things before we went on the record.
I'm glad you guys are here. Glad to see you all. This is my content, so I won't have to practice fair use. So I'm going to let it play. And then when there's something I want to comment on, I will pause it and comment. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
And told you had the opportunity to ask any questions that you needed to ask. If you need a break to consult with your attorney, that is absolutely fine. We'll all step out of the room, turn off our recorders, and let you exercise your constitutional right to have counsel. There's no problem with that. There's water fountains here. There's restrooms. I don't know if you're a smoker or not, but like if you get desperate, we can make an outside break time, but we are kind of under time constraints. With that all said, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is an investigative subpoena, so you've been compelled to be
I still don't think she's telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
here. In our country, under the 5th Amendment and the 14th Amendment as applied to you under the Florida Constitution as well, You cannot be forced to incriminate yourself. So anything you say today can't and won't be used against you unless you just don't tell us the truth. And I've already explained to your attorney, Mr. Bark, whether or not
Good
you've
morning,
made any
Trixie.
inconsistent
Nice
statements
to
in the
see you.
past, that is dirt under the bridge, and either a misdemeanor was committed or it wasn't. But we're not going to
Good morning,
be using that
Angelina.
as a basis
Or
of
Angela,
some
I'm
sort
sorry.
of perjury by
Said it
false
to you in the
statements.
comments, but
Because
not out loud.
those other
Good
charges
morning,
wouldn't be
Pete.
perjury anyways.
Anders,
So the
Christina,
most important thing
Jenny.
today is to tell the truth. I also explained derivative use immunity, which means if you said that there was a gun, and obviously there's no gun in this case, buried in your attorney's yard, we couldn't go dig up that gun if you told us that, oh yeah, there's the gun that was used is right there. We wouldn't be able to do that. We would have to show that we learned all those things independently from this interview. Okay? Do you have any questions? All right, so let's get started.
Before you start, let me just make sure we're clear on the record. Off the record, we had discussed our position on the concerns we have. Ms. Soto was interrogated by law enforcement previously. She was under a tremendous amount of
I'm sorry. Yes, Mama Jenny is on it. That is the link. If anybody wants to join me on panel, some people have asked what panel is. Panel is where you would come up here and then people could hear you talking, like I'm talking as we go over the interview. And it would be like a conversation between us, but whoever's watching would be able to see it. If anybody wants to join me up here and let your voice be heard, please let me know or click the link and I'll get you up here. Also, the speculating documents membership, I just wanted to let y'all know that I have posted the documents in that one from the poo-poo covered babies that were playing in traffic from Florida. Yesterday, I posted Stefan's arrest warrant in that one. And to my other membership, I'm going to try to post daily in both of those, especially the documents, obviously, because I'm giving documents every day. But my other one, I'm going to try to get a little bit more personal, like maybe things that I'm making. Yesterday, I posted a picture of my rabbit, Basil. So if you guys want to join memberships, you can do that. And but don't feel obligated, just by clicking subscribe, you're part of our family here. Okay, so with that, I'm going to get back to the interview.
duress and stress, being that her child was missing and then she was informed was found deceased. There's been media hysteria about this. There's been people asking for her to be prosecuted, tarred, feathered, executed. And so with that said, we have the concern that you brought up about if there's something said inconsistent today, not being used against her for filing a false police report.
So her attorney's basically admitting right now to the DA that she's going to say some things that contradict her previous police statements and talking about people wanting her tarred and feathered. I think she should be, because it's obvious that she was lying, and you're telling us right now that she was lying and she's supposed to be telling the truth right now. Number one, why should we believe that she's telling the truth right now? Because she's lied before. And people want her tarred and feathered for a valid reason. Things like finding out that your daughter had been raped for years and you go and immediately get this person an attorney. Like, I don't think people are invalid in wanting her tarred and feathered.
All right, so for example, if she said something that was false then, and we have no idea that was false now before this interview, but she comes in and admits that it was false today, we can't use these statements or that admission that it was false against her, just like we couldn't use anything else against her from this interview. Okay. All right. My understanding is that on February 25th of this year, you were working at the hotel on Disney property out at Coronado Springs.
Yes.
You
have to answer
out loud and loud enough to get caught on the recorder. I know you're upset. I know.
Yes.
All right. And did you get off at 10 p.m.?
Yes.
All right. Did you go directly home?
Yes.
About how long does it take you to get home?
About 25 to 30 minutes.
And when you get home, who is downstairs, if anybody? You have a two-story, is it a townhome? Is that the best word for it?
Yes, it's at home.
If anybody is downstairs, who is downstairs?
I saw my daughter Madelaine and Stefan.
Do you recall what Madelaine was wearing?
No.
And do you recall what Stefan was wearing?
I can't tell you. No.
When you get home from work, do you need to kind of eat a late dinner before you get settled in for bed?
Yes.
And do you eat there at your home?
Yes.
What do you eat?
I think I had a pub sub waiting for me in the house. A sandwich.
Okay, I got somebody that wants to come up, so I'm gonna try to do this. Let me do an overlay real quick. Hold on. So that just in case you don't want to be seen on camera and you have your camera on. Hold on.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
good. I just wanted to say a personal hello to you, and thank you for having this
Oh,
channel. I'm so happy
yeah.
I found. This is Trixie, by the way.
Yeah, I see your name. I'm gonna try to add you to the stage if you want. Do you want to be on stage or no?
I don't care.
Okay, let me see if you're on there. Oh, you are. Okay, so everybody. Okay, hi, Trixie. It's nice to see you, and
It's
thank you
good
for
to see.
that. Your
Yeah,
your um your mic cuts in and out a little bit. I don't know if you might be using headphones.
yeah. Let me remove them.
Okay. I think so.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, now I can.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice
Yeah, I
to
wasn't
see
sure
you.
if my. It's so good to see you. But
Yeah.
I just go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I'm sorry. It's a delay. I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but
I
I'm
know.
glad you decided to come up.
Yeah, I just wanted to come give a personal hello to you, and say I'm so glad you have this channel. I'm so glad the day I just ran into it. I love listening to you. I don't always chat because I am busy with taking care of my grandkids. But yeah, I love just sitting listening.
Awesome. I'm glad that you found us over here, the speculating family. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting and thank you for the nice kind words. That's so sweet. Thank you.
No problem. I'm gonna let you get back to your show, but I just wanted to say hi to you.
Okay, well thank you for coming up for a second and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope your grandkids have a good day.
I hope I have a good day with the baby.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
thank you. Bye. Okay. Thank you again. Thank you guys. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and play this again, okay?
Much.
Okay. Did anybody join you in sitting down and eating?
No, I ate in my bedroom.
Okay. Did it look like anybody else had recently cooked food or eaten any food there that night?
From what I saw, no, I didn't see anyone cooking, or it didn't look like anyone had been cooking.
Okay. I believe in one of your former interviews, you mentioned that Madelaine might have gone over with you kind of what she got at the birthday party since you didn't have the chance to go because you were at work.
Mm-hmm.
When and where does that occur?
That occurs like right after I get home. It occurs in my bedroom. Everyone's in my room.
And so by everyone, let's just be clear since I understand you have some roommates. So what do you mean by everyone?
Okay. Madelaine, Stefan, and myself were in my bedroom.
Okay. At this point in time, do you recall what Madelaine was wearing?
I don't know.
Let me ask it a different way. Can you tell me whether or not she was wearing a long sleeved green sweatshirt and jeans?
Oh, no.
Okay. Would she have kind of been in her bed gear, or do you think she could have still been in the dress that she wore to her birthday celebration?
She would have been in pajamas. I can't recall the exact pajamas, but she would have been in pajamas. She had already, by this point in the evening, she had already showered and changed out of that. birthday dress.
And was it you?
I wanted to let y'all know in the live, my speculating family members here, that I had gotten some kickback about pictures, specifically the one with Madelaine, like with the wings, and I told people that her stepmom made that picture. Like, I don't know if she made it actually, but she put it on a Facebook post of, like, memories of Madelaine. And people were like, she's not a fairy. And I actually got so mad that I made a picture. I put that picture and it was a background with a fairy, but I was like, yeah, that might be a little bit too far. So I haven't posted that. But that with these pictures that I was kind of irritated. So that's why they're kind of funny. But I don't regret doing it. I think that it brings character to this audio, if I'm being honest.
Your understanding from your sister that she had gotten dropped off about 8:30, she being Madelaine?
8:30, 8:45, something around that time, yeah.
And what's your understanding as to when Stefan had gotten there?
JR, yeah, the Audrey Cunningham case, I followed that one too, on my other channel that I had. That was an interesting case. That monster, I mean, he was like googly eyed and methamphetamine up and all kinds of things. That was a horrible case. But yeah, that happened. And her poor mama, you should hear her mama talk, because that's just a crazy case. Trixie, oh, you have a beautiful voice, Trixie. And Anders, yeah, I'm sure that you have people love accents, especially British accents and Swedish accents too. People would love to hear you, I'm sure. If you ever want to get up here, don't let that stop you. Oh, Jenny, that's a good question. We'll back it up just a second. I don't know why she wasn't mentioning Sister Act. So let's back it up just a smidge. We're at 6:48. I'll take it back to 6. That's a good point. I didn't catch it. So let's hear it again.
A long sleeved green sweatshirt and jeans?
Oh, no.
Okay. Would she have kind of been in her bed gear, or do you think she could have still been in the dress that she wore to her birthday celebration?
She would have been in pajamas. I can't recall the exact pajamas, but she would have been in pajamas. She had already, by this point in the evening, she had already showered and changed out of that.
That's true, JR.
And was it your understanding from your sister that she had gotten dropped off about 8:30, she being Madelaine?
8:30, 8:45, something around that time, yeah.
And what's your understanding as to when Stefan had gotten there? If you know. If you don't guess, it's fine.
Actually, while he's saying that, this is important. So there's things that you might think should be a certain way, because that's just the way things go. But don't just guess based on past history that it's the same as what happened on that particular day. If you don't know, you don't know.
Then yeah, I'm not sure exactly what time he got there.
Okay. You were at work, so I just didn't know if, like, sometimes families check in, hey, I made it, by text or by phone call or anything like that. Do you not remember anything?
I still haven't heard her mention Sister Act. And yeah, JR, you're right. They didn't really say much about her father. I know there was some kickback about why he allowed that man to live in his house. There was rumors, speculation. Okay, I did put my banner up. But there was speculations in that case that he was actually having relations with the person who hurt Audrey. And there was a horrific video of that baby doing a tattoo on what looked like the upper thigh of the predator. Or it could have been his arm. It looked like the upper thigh to me. But you're right. Nobody wanted to tar and feather him. I think with Jennifer Soto, it's so obvious, like her lies and things. And I don't remember Audrey Cunningham's dad coming out and speaking. I think maybe if he had, it would have been worse for him. I still hope that man got some kind of charges. I don't think the grandparents had anything to do with it, because the grandpa was, he owned a, crab, I think it was crab boat, and they were always out on the Baltic Sea. That was a crazy case though. Good morning, Darlene. Good morning, Casey. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Jenny, I still haven't heard her mention Sister Act, so I'm listening for it.
Or any of that?
I don't remember.
Okay. How long were the three of you in your bedroom?
I'm gonna say for about 30 minutes.
Okay. And did Madelaine tell you about the party?
She was really happy.
Did she tell you what food they had there at the party?
Yeah, they had her favorites.
What are her favorites?
Puerto Rican food. So arroz con gandules.
All right, so you're gonna have to translate to English. I know frijoles and arroz and a couple other things, but help me out.
If I recall correctly, she had requested rice. It's a type of rice and beans.
Mhm.
It's rice with pigeon peas.
Okay.
And pernil, which is I'm not sure how to. It's a pork, but I'm not sure how they cook it.
Okay.
So it's cooked pork. That's typically what she requests for her parties. That's like her favorite meal.
Okay. And what kind of gifts did she get?
She got a lot of money.
Okay.
That's what she.
Amy, that's a good question. I don't know how you're laughing with any of this. It's concerning. That is a great point. Yeah, Jenny, she initially did say that, and she did say that they watched Sister Act. Stefan said that they watched Sister Act. Like, they made sure to put that in there, and now they're not mentioning it at all. And you're right, exactly. Yep, Amy, that's right. One of the last meals her daughter ate, she's speaking of it, is if she's just telling a recipe. That's right. It's crazy. Trixie, I was gonna tell you, I do crafts too, and so I have 4 bonus children that live with me now, and if I'll usually ask my husband to watch them while I do some of my stuff. They're older now. They're not little like they were, but when they were little, I would still make sure to find time to do that, because if that's your outlet, then you should definitely try to like maybe see if somebody can help you watch them for a little while you do your crafting stuff. I make salves, I make jellies, I crochet, I just made a pumpkin wreath last night. So make sure you're still finding time for yourself. And thank you again, everybody, for being here.
She ended up showing me. I think she had a few trinkets, but like most of it was just a big wad of money that she was so excited for.
All right. Is there any particular reason Stefan couldn't make it up to the party? Because it's my understanding he didn't exactly work or anything.
He wouldn't have been invited. The party was held at my mom's house, and my mom and him have never had a great relationship. She's never liked him.
That part stands out to me. I think Miss Yolanda picked up on his bullshit immediately and was like, yeah, we're having none of that. Not in my house. Good morning, Holly S. It's nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you again,
He wouldn't
Amy,
have been
for being
invited to the party at all. It just would have been my whole family, and then me. If I hadn't worked, I would have been there. Okay.
Now, during this 30 minutes that the three of you are in your bedroom, is Madelaine engaging in any of her kind of nighttime routine, or, getting ready for bed? What else is going on, if anything?
We spent a long time talking about gifts and having her show me, and then we counted out her money. I can't remember if she had finished with all of her bedtime routine.
Okay. Does she brush her teeth at night?
In the shower.
In the shower? Okay.
Uh-huh.
And that occurred before you got home?
Yeah.
And my understanding with her nighttime medication is that's something that you would like to make sure she had bedtime or so?
Something like that, yeah.
So were you present for that occurring, or did that occur after you got home?
That did not occur on my call. I believe I had instructed Maddie when she got home to go ahead and take them herself.
Okay. And is that something that she's allowed to do?
From time to time, yeah.
When you say they, is there, what my understanding was, there was some hydroxyzine. Is there anything else she takes at night?
Just hydroxyzine.
All right. And the Miralax is when?
Miralax is.
So that would have been earlier while you were at work too, if she took it?
Yeah.
May not have, because she was at the party?
Yeah, because she's been because I had been training at work that week. And
I'm going to give a trigger warning right now. Big trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. That part bothers me, because I believe that Jennifer knew what was going on, and she stated that Stefan, when they talk about how they had relations, that he wanted to go in the back door. And considering that your daughter is constipated, and you're so much to the point that you're having to put her on Miralax, like, that's another issue for me, because why is my child constipated? Okay, is it a side effect of medicine? Well, then I need to get her off some of that medicine. I think there's signs here now that might not necessarily have been one you picked up on, but all of this bothers me, like the whole situation.
we had been going back and forth with my mom's a lot. The Miralax wasn't consistent.
Okay. All right. Now, Madelaine, does she lay out her clothes for school the next day, or is that something she gets in the morning, makes a game time decision like my kid?
Typically, it is a game time decision morning of.
Okay. What about this specific evening? Do you remember anything about it?
Yes. This evening, we had, I had already discussed prior to Stefan coming to visit that he was going to help me take Maddie to school that day. So because I knew that that was what was going to happen that night, I had asked Maddie, pick out your clothes, have everything ready, have your backpack ready, your water bottle, everything you need ready, so that way you could just grab your stuff and head out. It won't be too much of a hassle in the morning. And so she did. She picked out her clothing. I asked her what she was wearing, and she told me what she had picked out. I said, okay, fine.
All right, so she picks it out, but does she physically take it out of somewhere, wherever she stores her clothes, and put it somewhere?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she took that clothes upstairs with her or anything like that.
All right. So as far, you didn't see them in your room, and did you have the opportunity to kind of see her cubby part of the living room to see if she had put them on her bed or anything like that?
I hadn't seen them.
Does Madelaine have like a water bottle or a hydro flask or whatever the kids call it that she likes to sleep with and bring up or bring wherever she's sleeping?
Typically not. That stays downstairs in her backpack, and then she'll clean it in the morning and then fill it back up and just leave it in her backpack. That typically stays in the backpack.
Okay. Favorite stuffed animal or stuffed animals? Anything that always goes with her wherever she's sleeping?
She does have a few stuff.
Let me just reiterate on that, because that probably sounded really bad and I didn't mean for it to. My thought process in that is like, okay, we know from the ex-girlfriend that Stefan was sleeping in the bed with her every night, because he stated to the ex-girlfriend that Madelaine couldn't go to sleep unless they were cuddling together. So my thought process would be, when did you have to put her on the Miralax? Like, was it before Stefan entered the situation, or was it after Stefan entered the situation? And then when you had to do that, would you not question why? Like, she's been on all these medications for years and years and years before Stefan arrived. Did she have to take the Miralax then? Or was it sometime after Stefan arrived? Let me just reiterate that, because that probably sounded really bad, and I did not mean anything bad by it. This is a bad case in general, so pretty much anything you say is going to sound bad, but I just wanted to like kind of speak my thought process in that. I didn't mean any harm by saying that. That was what I was thinking when I said that, just to let you guys know.
Stuffies and blankies. Did I see any that day?
Yeah, specifically, did you see if she brought any of that stuff upstairs with her?
No, I didn't see any of that stuff upstairs.
Now, separate question. Generally, habitually, like your attorney was saying, there's a difference between specific memory, but generally, would she do that? Not saying that you saw it that night.
Generally, would she do what?
Have stuffies and blankets and her favorite stuff.
Yes, she typically would.
So if Stefan says something like Maddie's building her nest and getting settled in, would that to you mean like her stuff is part of this nest, or what do you think that would mean, if you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you recall getting that text from Stefan that night that Maddie had settled into her nest for the night?
I don't remember the text now.
Okay. My understanding was that at some point you told them it was time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Do you recall about what time that was?
Jenny Jen said, I thought she never went upstairs. That's right. She said she never went upstairs, number one. And you're having to tell them, a grown-ass man that's supposed to be responsible enough to take care of your child and be taking her back and forth to school or to school in the morning, and you're having to tell them at night to go to bed. I mean, again, I just can't fathom, why is my man going to be upstairs with my child in the bed? Like, this case is so astounding to me. Yeah, oh, the nest, that's what I was gonna talk about. This use of the word nest, the nest. I don't like that either, that's weird. Yeah, it sounds like code, right, Amy?
Around 11 o'clock.
So that's consistent
Welcome,
with getting
Tony.
home at 10:30, having this half-hour discussion and eating your pub sub? Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Do they comply with your wishes to go upstairs when you say that at about 11 o'clock?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Is there any further communication between either you and Madelaine or you and Stefan about, all right, kids, it's time to go to bed, anything like that? Or was that the last you had heard from either one of them that night?
I think at some point Stefan comes downstairs to use the restroom and then goes back upstairs, but after that, I don't recall interacting or saying anything, so.
Okay. And my understanding is that you had some sort of parental controls over Maddie's phone.
So Jenny says she sent him to bed at 11 and he texted her that at 11:40. I am okay, so when I went back through my stuff, this was from a request that I made after the documents had been released to the docket, plunder, and somebody else I can't ever remember. So I think that's why I was able to get this, because it was already out. I have requested the text messages, and they are telling me that they're not there. They don't have text messages. So I'm wondering again where they got that from, and has anybody actually seen these text messages? Because if I'm able to get this that they stated they paid for, because I guess I requested it after they had already gotten it or paid for it, then if they've also got the text messages, why am I not allowed to get that? That makes me question the validity of these text messages, unless somebody's seen them. Maybe I'm not seeing them. JR says those drugs are constipating. Doctors need to stop putting Band-Aid on wound and find the cause of emotional issues. Right. And I think that, like, that's kind of more the line I'm trying to point out, like, why did she not try to figure out the cause of why you're having to put your child on this thing to help her use the bathroom? That I would want to know the cause of it and see what I could do to change the cause. But all the medications that everybody in that house was on, I mean, good God, I don't know how they were able to even function. And it sounds like Jennifer wasn't able to function. Eek, I haven't thought about starting a Discord. I don't even know how to do that. Good morning, Amy Garcia. The next comment is triggering to me. Oh, and so your youngest son would build a nest in his pillowcase as he was mommy's baby bird. That is so sweet. The fact that was said and she didn't know, yeah, that's weird. Good morning, Darla. Darla says they went upstairs at 11:19. Okay. Christina says JR is right. Gray Hughes is third person. Thank you, JR. Amy says Stefan's phone. Okay, I'll try to request it again. I don't know. I asked for it. I'll try to, maybe I need to word it differently or something. I don't know. But I am trying to get that for you guys. Good morning. Jen says, good morning, Darla. Welcome. Tony says, thank you, Jenny. Great show. And JR says, Jen takes all those meds to a point of normality. Yeah. It was normal for her to be on all those meds, but when you look back at your mental capacity when you're on those meds, me personally, I would try to regroup, but everybody's different. If she felt like she needed those meds, then she would have no reason to feel like anything was wrong if she's going by, well, the doctor put me on this, so I must really need it. So I need to take it, even though I'm in a fog. I'll tell you, and give it to her daughter as well, right? I'll tell you that I'm bipolar and I used to be on medication for it. And they gave me lithium when my oldest daughter was like 2 years old. And I took it for a week. And I was so sleepy and zombified that I told them immediately, I was like, I cannot take this medication and take care of my child. It's just not possible. I'm falling asleep trying to watch my baby. Like, I'm not taking this anymore. I don't know what needs to happen. But considering that being me, it's hard for me to see her when she was all medicated to the point of like not knowing what's going on. But again, that's just me. Everybody's different. You know what I mean?
Is that accurate?
I'm not sure by parental controls exactly. I didn't have any limits or anything on the phone set up.
Well, like for instance, if she wanted to install Game Pigeon, does that have to go through you?
Yeah. So any permissions for any apps, she would have to ask me for.
All right, and does that ring a bell as to occurring that Sunday? Game Pigeon?
Me too, Amy.
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. So that's the last time you hear from either one of them until.
Okay, so Jenny says, yeah, at 11:19, Maddie's phone is plugged in. I got that from Grizzly True Crime. If it came from Grizzly True Crime, I believe it. She's great. I love her channel. I would believe it. So I'm going to continue to try to figure that out. Yeah, JR says that's what Jen's been doing for years. Good morning, Loretta. Good morning. Amy says, I hope they get her real good. Maybe when Stephen went down to go pee, he got the test for Maddie. That's a good thought, Loretta. Because they question if a test was missing. And then also, I don't think Maddie was sleeping. I think she was being given some type of medication. Yeah, they talk about, I think from rumors that I heard at some point were that there was some kind of sleeping medication in her autopsy report in her system. And it was like a medicine they give you before surgery that's usually not prescribed to people, but Stephen was prescribed it. Now, that's just a rumor. Her autopsy hasn't been released. But if I'm not mistaken, I heard that back in the beginning. Good morning, Abellis. Yes, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I don't mean to keep pausing. I'm going to try to stop pausing.
Until the morning, my understanding is that Stefan comes down and is dealing with your dog. Is there any communication other than perhaps Stefan coming down to use the restroom? Is there any other communication that you have between Stefan and Maddie? Do you see them? Now, I've said communicate. Do you see them? Do you go up and check on them? Do you see Madelaine or Stefan from the point you kick them out at 11 p.m. until you see Stefan at 8 in the morning-ish is what you guess for the dog?
JR, what a great thought. What a great thought. You're absolutely right. JR says, I don't think that she was pregnant because the charges don't reflect it. That is right. That you're 100% right. If she was pregnant, then it would have been another murder charge. But if she just like was maybe a month or two, I don't know if that would be different. Like, I don't know if it would be considered. I'd have to look up the law for when they consider a life. Like, I think it might have to be if the baby's viable outside the womb, then it's a murder charge. I'll look into that though. That's a great thought, JR. That
No, I didn't see them.
Okay. Now, when you go to sleep, do you sleep through the night or do you wake up and not have consistent good sleep?
I sleep through the night.
Okay. So there wouldn't be any points in time where you get up and you're taking steps or just checking on your phone because you can't go back to sleep? As far as you remember, when you go to sleep, you're out until the dog thing in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear or see anything during those hours involving Stefan or Madelaine?
I didn't hear or see anything that night.
Okay. All right. What's the first thing you remember
But she went upstairs and knew that there was no mess upstairs because she told the police that there was no mess upstairs. So if you didn't go upstairs, how did you know that there wasn't a crime scene upstairs, ma'am? Again, you're lying, number one. Abella says, I don't think that pregnancy was in the autopsy. So in the state of Florida, well, I probably all states, in order for the autopsy of a minor to be released, the family has to do it. So I don't think it's actually been released, but I know that there's somebody who had some documents. Thank you, Abellas, for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate that. If y'all got a membership, make sure you tell Abellas thank you. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. Thank you. Amy says, also, her age may reflect that not being disclosed. I don't know, but good thought, JR. Yep, right. JR said it really sounds like she outgrew Stefan's grooming manipulation and wanted it to stop. That is another great process. Thank you again, Abellis. That was so sweet. That is another thought process too that I have had. Because if we take into account that Stefan had been gone for several months, and then when this happened, he was supposedly just coming back into the house, like to stay the night. We question if she told him, you know, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this. And then if it was like the Woody Allen situation, like Jennifer had stated she didn't want to happen. And Stefan's like, well, you're supposed to be mine. You're mine. We're supposed to get married when you turn 18. What are you doing? Why don't you love me? You know, all the craziness. And then, you know, what happened. Also, we've thought about her talking about her crush recently. If there was pictures drawn in her notebook that were really graphic depicting relations, and I'm not ever going to release that. It made me cry when I saw it. But if he was worried that she was going to try to do that with her boyfriend or talk to her boyfriend about it, thinking that it's just a natural thing that she's supposed to do because of all the things that he had been doing to her whole life, was that a concern for him? And maybe he did what he did because he was worried she was going to say something to her boyfriend.
Remember when you wake up after having gone to sleep?
I wake up
thank you,
to
Tony.
Stefan trying to put the leash on the dog.
Okay. Now, is this the first time that you've ever woken up to Stefan trying
Possibly,
to
Amy.
put a leash on your dog, or is
Good
that
morning,
something that's
Joy.
occurred before
Good morning,
in the past?
Joy. Good morning, sweetheart.
I want to say this is the first time. It's not normal for any of us to put the leash on the dog on the bed, because if he's on top of any like bed, couch, anything, he'll pee. He gets really nervous. You have to do it on the floor. So I found it really weird that he did that. But
Again,
All right, so
people
let me
bring
ask it
up
a little
that
more broad.
even the daggum dog in this house had anxiety. Poor baby. I hope that dog got in a better situation.
Broadly, is this the first time Stefan's ever come into your room while you're sleeping to take the dog out for you in the morning?
I can't recall if he said it before.
Okay. Did you find it unusual then, or what did you think when this is occurring?
When it happened,
Right,
he comes
Amy
from
Garcia.
I found it off, but I was more
Angela?
worried over the dog. I was like, please don't pee on the bed. I don't want to do laundry.
Angela, I'm not sure if there was boys at her birthday party. Her friend said that a lot of people were invited, and poor Maddie was upset because she had hyped up her birthday party and not a lot of people showed. So I'm not sure. That's a good question, though.
Okay.
So I was more anxious over that. He put the dog on the leash and told me to lay down and go back to sleep. And I said, okay.
So were you not laying down when he tells you to go back and lay down?
No, when he put the leash on the dog, I shot off the bed because I was going to help him. I was like, no, let me do it. And he's like, no, go back to sleep. I'm fine. I got this.
Okay.
I said, okay.
Now,
Great
do you
point,
go back to
Amy and
sleep, or do
Jitty.
you check your phone or do anything?
I think I go back to sleep. I can't look at anything.
In this period of
Oh,
time
no,
that
Amy,
you
I hope
have
not.
been awoken by Stefan, do you hear or see anybody else in your household?
I hear somebody
Great point, Abellis.
in the kitchen. I'm not sure who it was.
Okay. Could you identify it by size, like their steps? Could Did you identify gender by their voice? Anything like that?
Hi, Darla.
All I heard was sounds of like cabinets shutting, like somebody in there shutting, like looking for something and shutting.
JR, I'm not sure. I have an interview from right after this happened with, I think it was the sister. I don't know if Jennifer has a sister or a brother, but I think it's that person and their significant other. And they're asking about setting up a GoFundMe to help find Maddie because this was the night they were looking for her. And I'm not sure, that's the only interview that I know of that could possibly be the cousin or the aunt. It's some relative that was with Jennifer the night that Maddie went missing, and I think it's the same person that made the 911 call. Who that was, I don't know, because it doesn't tell me. And I thought about putting that out, and I still might. I'm not sure. It just, there wasn't a lot of pertinent information in it, but I do want to get all of the interviews out for you guys. Some people get upset because they're older interviews, so I try to reiterate, like, if it's an older one.
Now, if your daughter had been awake, would she come in and say goodbye to you before school or not? Just let you sleep?
I would have hoped she would have come by and say goodbye to me. I can't remember if this is one of the first times that Stefan actually took her to school, so I would have hoped she would have said good night, but I'm not sure.
All right, so do you fall back asleep?
I do.
And when do you wake up and how do you wake up?
I wake up at like 9 o'clock in the morning to my alarm. Yeah, I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning to my alarm. I get ready. I think at around 9:30, 9:45, I leave for my doctor's appointment.
Okay. So in this period of time from when you're waking up and getting ready, do you see anybody else in your home?
At this point, I'm not too sure.
Like, but
I know.
how do you not know if you woke up and saw somebody? Ma'am?
Throughout the day, I've seen my roommate
Good morning,
in the kitchen cooking
Danny.
and doing her thing, but I don't recall if it was at this time.
Did you see your daughter this morning on the 26th?
No.
Did you have any texts or phone calls or any other type of communication through any possible app on your phone? Like, hey mom, love you at school, whatever. Any communications from Madelaine?
Anything from her? Nothing.
All right. How about from Stefan by the time that you wake up at 9? Any texts or communication from him? Maddie's dropped. I'm off to the game store or whatever he's doing.
No. I didn't hear back from Stefan until 10:20ish, and he had told me he left his phone at home that whole morning by accident.
Which you didn't find suspicious at all? I mean, just asking. Danny, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us from the UK. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Welcome.
And I had asked him how the morning went, how was Maddie, and he let me know that this morning went great. We made great time. She got busy super quick. He was going to take her to McDonald's for breakfast, but she changed her mind. All she wanted to do was sleep in the car, so he let her sleep. He took her to school and dropped her off, or he said he dropped her off, and that was it.
And you had a 10:15 appointment for a blood draw?
Yes.
And did you go anywhere else prior to getting to your appointment for your blood draw? Did you go directly there or not directly there? That's basically the question.
Oh, I went directly there.
Right. And after your blood draw, did you go directly back home?
Yes.
About what time did you get home?
Sometime between 11:15 and 11:30.
Did you have any other appointments or doctor's appointments later in the day?
I was supposed to have had one, but I canceled it.
Amy, I can definitely see that. If we look at it from the perspective of like Stephen Stearns and the Woody Allen situation, I could definitely see him being like, "Oh, I broke up with your mom because I only love you, and we're gonna be together, and we're gonna get married, and all the things." Um, I just lost my thought. Oh, Jennifer said that they weren't having relations for like over a year. So again, why is he there? Like she stated that they were like friends for a year before they started dating, and maybe I could understand if you were just being friends, but you were supposed to be in a relationship with each other. And I'm sorry, I don't know of any man that's going to be with a woman, especially just dating, and you're not having relations because he's getting it somewhere. Um that's weird to me, and it makes me think that, again, she knew. She figured out what was going on. She stopped because she realized he didn't want her, he wanted Maddie, and for some stupid reason, she didn't call the police, she just let it continue happening. I mean, regardless, if we say that maybe Maddie, having been groomed her whole life, was like, "Oh, well, I love him because she's a fucking child and this man has been grooming her." That's when you as a parent say, "No, no, no, honey. I, I'm I'm going to get you help for this. I don't know what all has happened. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to get you help for this. You may think you really care about this person, but you don't. This is not acceptable. This is not appropriate, and I as your parent am going to make it stop right now. And one day you will understand why I'm doing this." Like that, even if that was the situation, that's how you need to handle that. Because at the end of the day, regardless, he's grooming and a predator on your child. All of it is just astounding.
When did you
Hey,
cancel it?
you. Hi,
That same
welcome.
day.
Why did you cancel it?
Because it was a $350 Botox appointment that I didn't want to spend the money on. I changed my mind last second.
When you get home from your blood draw appointment, is there anybody else at your home?
When I get home from blood draw. Yes, Stefan was home.
All right. And can you describe what he's wearing, what he's doing, his demeanor, what's going on?
I can't recall what he's wearing. It might be a red shirt with a graphic on it.
Okay.
He's sitting in my bedroom on my desk.
Prior to you getting there, he's in your room, or is that where you guys go to talk?
That he was hanging out there in my room.
Okay.
My room is kind of like the general hangout spot.
Okay.
I walk into my room. He's sitting there on the computer chair. He's talking, acting normal, asking about the morning and how everything went, and that he let me know the errands that he ran that morning or what he was up to.
And what did he say he was up to?
He said he had dropped Maddie off at school and then afterwards went to a vape shop so he can buy vaping things.
Okay.
But that the store wasn't open, so he waited a long time for them to open. They never did. So he drove around, killed time, and then eventually made it back to my house at like 10:20.
Supposedly sat in the vape store parking lot from like between 8:40 and 8:50 until 10 something, right? Because we're just sitting in a vape store parking lot staring at the window for, what is that, 2-3 hours?
When later on, when I got home and he was home, we started discussing, or he started telling me that he was going to go back out to run a few more errands in a little bit down 192. And he gave me the name of a few stores that he might stop at. And I'm like, okay. I asked him if he wanted to meet me at my house by 2:30 so that we can go pick up Maddie from school together. And he said, yeah, he'll be back by 2:30. And I said, okay.
So was that the plan, to get her together, or was it ever discussed that he would get her alone?
The plan was for us to get her together.
Okay. All right. And so does he leave before you leave?
actually before this, while we were still discussing, while we were having the conversation in my room, he did mention at one point, while he was sitting there, that he had to reboot his phone, or that he had to update his phone.
Mama Jenny Jen coming in with all the facts. She's so great. Jenny Jen says at 9:40 he transferred Maddie's body to the trunk. I didn't know that that was the time that was given for that. Thank you so much, Jenny. You're so awesome. Thank you guys for all commenting and giving your thoughts and opinions. I've been highlighting them because they're all such great thoughts and opinions. You guys are so awesome and smart. I love it. I love hearing you guys' theories and opinions.
And what was it? He had to update his phone. So I told him, stop avoiding it, do it. Like, updates take a while, like, do it. And while he was updating his phone, he said, I don't know what I did, but I just factory reset my phone. And I said, that's weird. I didn't know that you could do that. He said, yeah, a button popped up and I pressed it and it just reset my entire phone. And I'm like, oh, that sucks.
So does he leave before you do to go do these errands he was telling you about?
Yes, he does leave.
Do you stay at home until it's time to go get Madelaine?
Yes.
Do you hear anything from Stefan while he's out doing these errands?
No.
So 2:30 rolls around. Is Stefan back home yet?
No. At this point, I leave.
Do you try and call him or text him or communicate with him?
Yeah, I had been calling him like maybe starting 15 minutes before I was supposed to leave just to see where he was.
Did he answer?
No. I leave at 2:30. Around 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him. And he said, I'm so sorry. I left my phone at home again on accident.
That is a good point. Abella said one thing that bugs me. Why did the school not contact Jen about Maddie not being there that day? And like Jenny said, my nephew goes to school here in Nevada. Here in Nevada, notifies the parents after school. So I think that's something that needs to be fixed, right? When my children were in public school before I took them out and started homeschooling them, if they were at home sick, I would get a phone call actually that night at like between 4:30 and 5 telling me that my child wasn't there that day. And I stated back then to their dad, I said, what if I didn't know that they were out? What if they weren't here with me? And I just found out, you know what I mean? That is something that definitely needs to be fixed. It's like an automated thing that comes through and it says, your child, and it'll sometimes say the name, was not here today. And it's like automated, but you don't get the call till, like she said, like 4:30, 5 o'clock at night. Like, yeah, that stuff needs to be fixed. That you should take your attendance in your homeroom class or first period or whatever, and then that needs to be like, I think you should do that right after the bell rings, and then send somebody with the attendance record to the office, and then let them go through and immediately call people. Would be my thought process on that.
I was driving down 192 and my tire exploded or shredded, and I had to pull over into one of the plazas and change my tire. He said he hurt his thumb doing that. Okay. And that, he was late and didn't make it back on time for that reason.
All right. When you leave to go pick Madelaine up at 2:30, do you take her phone with you?
I do.
And how is it that you come to get her phone to go with you?
At some point in the morning, I was organizing and putting things away, and I walked into her bedroom and I saw her phone on her dresser. And I just assumed, oh, she must have left it here while getting dressed and forgot it.
Okay. Was it on?
Yes.
And sometimes when you...
Danny says we get notified by 9 a.m. here in the UK. That's something that the United States needs to get in line with the UK on, among several other things, in my opinion.
bump or move phones, the notification screen comes up. Did you happen to do that, and did you see if there's any incoming notifications that she had missed?
I hadn't seen any. No.
Okay. All right. So you go to
Exactly,
school,
Bellis.
and due to time constraints, like an NFL football game, we're going to kind of jump ahead a little bit. My understanding is that you
That's so
want to
funny,
be first
E.
in line.
I remember
And
doing
you
that
have to get
too.
there early to do that, and I understand that.
I'll actually tell y'all a story real quick. And I'm gonna get back to this and talk about it more. But Eek says I remember racing to pick up the house phone on days that I ditched. I did too. I was actually really bad. And all my friends were older, so I would have my older friends call in and pretend to be like my uncle or my aunt or somebody and say, "Oh yeah, I got to come pick Jessica up for the day," and they would then I would get out of school, and it got so bad that my mom had to go up there and say, if she leaves again, you are to call me immediately or call the police. Like, that's how bad it was. I was such a bad kid. Like, I'm so glad that I grew up and got out of that.
Yeah,
She doesn't come out.
she doesn't know.
Did you call her phone?
I did.
Why did you do that?
Because I forgot I had it with me. I was like, where is she? Why isn't she out yet? So I start calling her phone, and then I start realizing I'm hearing vibrating, and then I look down and I see her phone's with me. I'm like, oh,
Okay.
how am I going to get a hold of her? Because I'm the first in line. The cars behind me already have children. They're full. They're waiting for me to leave.
All right. So I'm going to kind of jump ahead. Did Madelaine ever complain to you about believing that Stefan had taken her Christmas money?
Yes.
Good morning, Ella
Tell me
Bell.
about that.
Christmas money went missing, and we were both. I don't even know how to say this. We had collected all of her envelopes with Christmas money and consolidated into one. I'll put all her money into one.
Yep.
And then I said, I will put this somewhere safe. And I thought I had put it in my nightstand. A few days later comes around, whatever.
I think he stole Maddie's money, and I think he replaced it. This shit made me sick. Jenny says, I think he's asking about Maddie's phone because it was powered off at 7:19 a.m. So somebody must have had to turn it back on. I agree. That's weird. Joy says, my mom worked at the school, so I can ditch. That sucks. I would have hated that. I actually probably would have been a better student and teenager if my mom had worked at the school. And Jen says again, if she had her phone, then why not answer it after the best friend called, when the best friend called after school? Right. And she always states to the people that call and the people she's talking to, Stefan dropped her off and she walked to the school, like even when it's not pertinent information. You know, that's weird.
Whatever. We start looking for it or asking for it or something like that, and we can't find it. We can't find it at all.
So let me just narrow it down. Did she accuse Stefan of taking it?
I'm not sure if she did directly. We both had the suspicion, but we're like, no, could he have? No, I don't think so. But I eventually found that money.
Okay, how did the mystery end? All right, so you just started this job at Disney Coronado Springs like a week or two earlier, is that right?
Yes.
And your sister and other family members would help with Maddie getting to school because of your job?
Yes, my mom and my sister, yes.
Good morning,
Why is it
Sandy.
that now
Nice to see
Stefan
you.
on February 26th is coming up to help as opposed to any of your family members helping getting Madelaine to school?
I had asked for him to come and help me because I think I was working a lot of night shifts or like really late shifts. And I just wanted the opportunity to see Maddie, like, because I wanted to spend more time with my daughter throughout the week while I was working, versus had she had stayed at my mom's, I wouldn't have seen her all week.
Okay.
So that was just me wanting to see her and spend time with her.
Did Madelaine stay at your mom's house fairly frequently?
Every few weekends here and there, like just for the weekend kind of thing.
So like if she described it to her friends as like her second home and like kind of offer up it's better jacuzzi and pool, does that sound like that's the place?
Yes.
Where does Madelaine sleep when she's over at your mom's?
She will sleep in
I
bed
hope
with my
so,
mom.
Bellis.
Okay.
Good morning, Cozy
Did she ever have
Constellations.
sleepovers? Like have friends come over and sleep over?
I love that name.
Slumber parties, no.
Did she ever go and attend any?
No.
Is there any particular reason? I mean, she's a 12-year-old girl on the cusp of being 13.
This is
Yeah,
weird.
I've been very uncomfortable with sleepovers just because I know what can happen. Anything can happen in a sleepover.
Well, then you can be the host house like we kind of were. You never hosted any sleepovers for her friends?
For her friends, no.
Did she ask about it?
Yeah, she did ask.
Was it probably a source of contention or arguments?
It was, I guess what was the source of argument was her and she wanted to really sleep over her best friend's house, and I just kept saying no, you never know what could happen. I don't know the dad, I don't know the brother, I don't know anybody there. Like I don't know what can happen to you. So
And again, then why not host the sleepovers? That's always weird to me that she never let this baby go spend the night and have sleepovers and things. I question if she was worried that she would talk about what was going on at home and she didn't have them at her house because she just didn't want to deal with a lot of kids there. That's my thought process on that because, that goes back to what JR just said. She's having her own issues, so she don't want a house full of kids. And I can understand that, but I still don't understand why you wouldn't let her go and spend the night with other people. Everybody can be worried about like things like that happening. And honestly, I'm the same way. Like I won't let my kids spend the night with somebody I just met or don't know. But after you get to know people, like you're supposed to get to know your child's friends and things like that. And after that process, you let them go spend the night or whatever. You could be worried. I mean, I'm sure there's also people that maybe there was only a female in the house, like just had a mom or something, that's just weird to me. And again, like I've hosted sleepovers at my house because I didn't want my kids going to other people's houses. So why not do that? I mean, it's stressful when you have a house full of kids, like 7, 8 kids, but it's for literally like one night and 2 days. Like I would deal with it to make my child happy and let her spend time with her friends. But that's just my thought process. Oh, Darla, good
I'm just
point.
afraid of her getting assaulted.
Did Madelaine
I
do
didn't
her
think
own
about
laundry?
that. That's a good point.
Did she cook for herself?
I was teaching her how to make a few things, so I mean, yeah, she could, I guess.
What's her normal routine for getting ready for bed?
We give her her meds.
I'm sorry, take your time.
We get ready for bed. I'd give her her medication. She would get in the shower.
Take a long shower, I understand.
Like an hour plus, yeah.
Okay.
That's a great
She
point,
loved it.
Sandy.
She'd get out, she'd get dressed, she'd let her hair towel dry for a while, and then she would brush it. We would watch some TV. She'd probably have a snack before bed as well.
Okay. What were kind of her nighttime uniforms? I mean, everybody kind of has their pajamas, but they're not necessarily pajamas. What was her routine nightwear?
She really liked wearing shorts. So she had a few pajama outfits, but she really liked wearing shorts and baggy t-shirts.
Okay. How about her routine getting ready for school in the morning? What's that about?
We'd wake up, the alarm would start ringing around 7:30. We'd snooze it up until 8 o'clock.
I'm going to reiterate real quick that everything stated on my channel by me, by my commenters, by anything you see ever on my channel, ever in the history of my channel and in the future, ever, forever and ever, amen, is thoughts and speculations.
Then she'd get up, she'd get dressed, and then she'd lay back down in bed while she would wait for me to make her breakfast.
So she's a breakfast eater? Okay.
She'd have breakfast.
That is a photo I did. Maybe it wasn't tasteful. Probably shouldn't have done it. But I removed the background from the photo of Jennifer when she's standing in the police station and reporting Maddie missing. And then I got the background of a jail cell and just stuck her in it because she pisses me off. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Yeah, it was photoshopped. If you thought it was real, I definitely need to put in the description box that it's not real. No, it's definitely not real. I made this. Probably shouldn't have done it, but I don't like Jen. She pisses me off. Probably wasn't in the best taste. But I'll reiterate on that video that this is photoshopped.
Breakfast. Then she would start, with brushing her hair, brushing her teeth, putting on makeup. I would give her ADHD medications for school.
Is that every day or just school days?
Good morning,
So it sounds like you're heading out like 8:45 or 9.
Servalin fan.
And
Nice
it
to
takes
see
like,
you. Thank you
what'd you
for
say,
being
15,
here.
20
Thank you
minutes
for
to
your
get to
comment.
school?
Yes.
And first bell's 9:38?
9:20.
Something like that?
9:20,
Okay.
yeah.
So on Monday the 26th, 7:30 seems like a really early time to depart to go to middle school, even if you're getting Mickey D's. What was the discussion?
Good morning, Avantage. That reminds me of that Austin Powers, where that girl says, "My name is Ivana Humpalot." But I like your name. That's cool. I didn't catch if they said made breakfast. If they said it, I missed it, and I should have been paying attention. I'm sorry. But thank you for pointing that out.
About when Stefan and Madelaine were going to leave on the 26th.
There wasn't one.
So you didn't know anything about these plans, or did you? Or
I knew that they were going to
Good morning,
go to
Diane
McDonald's,
Cat.
but
Nice
not
to see
7
you.
o'clock in the morning. That wasn't.
okay.
I had assumed like 8 o'clock.
And-
But even then, 8 o'clock is kind of early, like 8:30, because you could just go to McDonald's, be done by 9, and then drop her off at school. Because McDonald's is right the block away from the school. So
And Madelaine's not driving, so she can eat while she's riding.
yeah. So I
And
don't.
she takes about an hour to get ready in the morning?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
So if they were leaving at 7:30, you'd think she'd have to get up at 6:30 to get ready and go through a routine, right?
Yeah, that's extremely early.
Right, Tony?
And is that what Stefan told you after these events unfolded? Was that they left early, like 7:30? What did he ever tell you?
It was early. I can't remember the time. I think I dropped her off in front of her school sometime between 8:15 and 8:45.
You say I. What do you mean by that? Did you drop her off that
No,
morning?
I'm speaking. Sorry.
Okay.
As what Stefan was telling me.
That's questionable to me. I don't like when people do that. But it really wasn't you. It makes me think that yes, it was, and you're just trying to cover up for the fact that it really was you. Welcome, Mallory. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comment.
Stefan let me know that he dropped her off sometime between 8:15 and 8:45 on the road by the church close to her school.
Mhm.
And I remember asking him,
Sorry,
why so early? That's too early. School doesn't start until 9:30. Why did you drop her off that early? Oh, I don't know. We just left the house and made good time. I wasn't paying attention to the clock.
Okay. Did Madelaine ever have like effects from taking the hydroxyzine in the morning? Like still be kind of sluggish?
Yes.
How often would that occur? Was that like every morning or not every morning?
Not every morning. If we happen to give her medication later than normal and routine, that would happen. But
And were there ever any instances where she had taken too much of the medicine? Perhaps you and Stefan had given her medicine, not knowing that the other person had?
yes, that's happened once
How many-
before.
Just once or more?
I want to say one.
Were you taking medicinal marijuana in pill form at any point?
Hello,
THC?
Michelle, if I didn't say hey to you.
And what do those pills or tablets or capsules look like?
They're purple capsules.
Did you ever suspect or confront Stefan about giving those medications to Madelaine?
No.
So during this incident where Madelaine had been double dosed with hydroxyzine, do you recall any conversation you had with Stefan? And
So that makes me question, did they find that in her system? Or were they talking about her having marijuana in her system? Like, were they asking Jen, did Stefan dose her with marijuana? Or were they just talking about his medication? Because again, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they found Stefan's medication in Madelaine's system.
inquiring as
Anna.
to whether or not he had accidentally given her any of your THC?
That hadn't occurred to me. I had asked him the one morning Maddie wouldn't wake up and get ready for school, and she was just out of it. I assumed it was medication related.
Okay.
But I didn't really, I'm like, did this one medication hit her too hard because we gave it to her late? I called poison control. I needed to see what would happen. Because at this point, I think I had gotten Stefan to admit that he gave her.
Yep, Diane. That's what they do. But they stated that what she states in this interview can't be used against her. So I would question if they can use anything from this interview in particular to build a case against her. But if they can prove she's lying while she's talking to them right now, then they can charge her for that. Thank you, Jen. I'm going to drop the link for panel if anybody wants to join. So I wonder if they want to catch her, because she's obviously lying. I think she's lying again. And I think a lot of other people do too. And if they can prove that again, that she's lying, then they can use everything against her. And if they know that she's going to lie, which I suspect they do, then they can use it against her.
A second dose of the sleeping meds as well, because he thought I had given it to her in the first place.
Okay.
But that was with hydroxyzine. I didn't know anything about THC, the marijuana.
I'm just asking you.
Oh.
I'm asking if you remember having that conversation, because there is a conversation on your phone about you were relaying that Madelaine said that she suspected that it was different, bigger pills, and you relayed that to Stefan and had a conversation with him. And if you don't remember it because it was a year ago, that's fine. My next question is, you have two female roommates,
Yes.
and one of them has a son that sleeps part-time over there.
You would recall, I think you would recall talking to your significant other about them giving your child medication, point blank, period, in my opinion. I dropped the link if anybody wants to join me on panel. I'm trying to highlight all your comments. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up because y'all are just putting out so many great thoughts and opinions, and I'm loving it. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts and opinions. I really appreciate that.
Over there.
Yes.
And so my understanding is they're it's like I don't know what to call it, like a bed and breakfast. There's numbers on the doors upstairs.
I don't know. To make it easier for the roommates, I just labeled each bedroom.
So they're in 2 and 3.
Yes.
All right. Now, bedroom number 4. At one point, you told the police that your sister was staying with you, and that's why the sleeping arrangements were as they were. Was your sister ever staying with you, or did I misunderstand what you said?
No, my sister wasn't staying with me.
Okay. So let me ask you this. At what point did Madelaine's bedroom kind of become the living room? When did that set up?
Right. But then in other situations, Cozy Constellation, they treat her like she's a complete adult. It's weird. Yeah, and her bedroom being the living room again is just weird. I don't understand when her father owned the house. Jen's father, one, owns that house. So again, why are you not giving her her own room? Like, I don't understand the need to rent out the rooms that bad. If you need money to help pay for it, fine. Rent out 2 rooms and let Maddie have a room. Or like Jen said in a previous live, my mod, put Maddie's bed in your room with you. Like, you're just leaving her in the living room for everybody to prey on her. What the hell? I don't like it.
Start.
I think as soon as
Ivana, I hope he can.
a few months into us moving back into that townhouse.
And when would that have been?
Let's say June.
And yeah, I know he wanted rent. Like, if he did want rent, I can understand that. But from what I've heard, they were like really close. In the interview from the neighbors seemed to think that Juan was really close to Maddie. So if he saw her sleeping in the living room, I mean, I don't know. I don't know as a grandparent or parent if I'd be okay with that. I think I would just say, we need to figure out a way to get my grandchild in a room somewhere, like either put her in your room, or I don't need rent for that room. Like, if you did need rent for that room, did you ask Jen, put her in your room so that she's, got her own space, or at least a space shared with you, would be my thought process on that.
June of sometime in 2022, but I'm not sure when.
Okay. It's my understanding that it's December of 2022 that you and Stefan kind of break up,
Yes.
but he still remains in the townhome.
Yes.
Why is that?
Before we start that, so December of 2022, and then she goes missing in February of 2024. So that's a year and we'll say 2 months that you are with this man, and y'all are not in a relationship, not having relations. That man is getting it somewhere, like I said. And the fact that you still had him in the house and y'all were not in a relationship is weird to me, unless you knew he was preying on your daughter and just allowed it. Good morning, Celestic Glow. Welcome. Diana from Brooklyn. I don't know if I've said hi to you yet, but if I haven't, hi and welcome.
So even though we were broken up, I still considered him one of my best friends. I wanted to give him the opportunity to live there, and he had gotten a job at Disney and was doing well.
Okay.
And I didn't want him to continue to lose that because he had been struggling for a long time to get a job or do anything because his own mental health issues.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give him a chance to do something, be something. So
Did he pay rent?
yes,
How much rent did he pay?
$600 a month.
All right.
Sorry.
Here from
No footsies.
like long way.
So in December of 2022, kind of when the breakup happens, prior to that, what were the sleeping arrangements in your home?
Right, Abellis, that's my
Was he
thought
sleeping
process
in
on
your
that.
bedroom as a couple?
Yes.
So who's in bedroom number 4, if anybody?
I think that room remained empty for a while. For a little bit, there was another roommate there, but it remained empty for the most part.
And were
yeah,
your
that's
female
funny.
roommates already there in 2 and 3?
Yes.
Why doesn't Madelaine have that bedroom 4?
I wanted her to have bedroom 4, but my dad really wanted rent. That whole unit that I live in is owned by my father.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you
Okay, so that was what somebody was saying. He really wanted rent for that room. I understand that, but again, I would have said, even if I really needed rent for that room, I would have at least said, you need to put her in your room or something.
pay your father anything to live there, or does he just handle the collecting the rent from your rentees,
Yeah,
lessees, whatever they are?
I pay him rent as well.
Okay. What do you pay for the rent?
My portion of the rent was $400 a month.
All right. And what do the two female roommates pay?
$850 and $650.
Prior to Madelaine having her own bedroom set up in the living room, where was she sleeping in that townhome?
In my bed with me.
Okay. And this is during a time frame when you were together with Stefan. So is it the three of you every night?
Well, when we had first moved in, it was just me and Maddie. So it was just me and her on the bed. Then I think we eventually got her own bedroom. Stefan moves in eventually, and then at that point, it does become the three of us on the bed.
Okay. So Madelaine's 12 and she has her own bedroom. How often is she sleeping in her own bed alone?
Hardly. She doesn't like sleeping alone. And she doesn't like the living room. It's too big, too quiet. She says it'd be too dark and then there would be spiders. She would see spiders, so.
So you say hardly. Were there ever nights where she just slept alone in her bed?
Anna, they might have
Or
already
is it 100%?
known.
Because there's a difference
roommates
between hardly
were.
ever and 100% to me.
Oh,
if she
wow.
ever
they
slept
are. I
on
didn't
that
know
bed,
that.
it was like once.
All right.
Yeah, Joy,
So now
exactly.
you've broken up with Stefan in December of 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Jen.
He's
Thank
still
you,
paying
Phyllis
rent.
Flo.
And he's there full time in bedroom number
And
4.
Cozy. Thank you.
Is that where he
Thank
goes
you,
after
Maddie.
you break up?
No, he stayed in my room for a few months. We had broken up, but we weren't sure how to discuss it with Maddie because it was the middle of the school year, and I didn't want to affect her in any way.
Mhm.
So we just played it off. Acted like everything was normal and fine for the first 6 months. And then eventually she caught on. And then once she did, we admitted to her that we were broken up. And then, at that point is when he moved up to bedroom 4.
Okay. And once he moved up to bedroom 4, were there instances where Madelaine would sleep alone upstairs with him?
I want to hear the answer to this because remember, the ex-girlfriend stated that he had to go home every night to cuddle with Maddie to go to bed. Thank you, Eek, so much for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate that. If you guys got a membership from Eek, please make sure to tell her thank you. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna say,
I want you to think carefully before you answer because obviously we've gone through your phone and we've seen all the conversations that you've had with Stefan. So it's clear that that's occurring. So I'm giving you the chance to answer the question.
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how many times it's happened.
Okay. Why are you allowing that to occur?
I saw Stefan as someone that I completely trusted with my life, my child's life. I thought he had cared for her as a father would. He had been in her life for more than half of it, playing the father role.
I still can't believe you didn't ever see anything that was the least bit suspicious at all. Trixie, I was going to tell you, yeah, that's what we did. When I had my child and actually I was renting a room from a friend, she slept in the room and I slept on the couch while we lived there because, and she was little, but still my child would have the room. There's been other places where I've lived in like a 1-bedroom apartment too, and my child had the room. I slept in the living room. That's how that worked. Because again, your child is supposed to be put before you. So I always made sure my child had a place, her own room or his own room with my sons, and they could dress and, because they got to get changed, all of the things. They need their space for their toys and all of that. My goodness, y'all. Thank you so much, Eek, for gifting 10 more and Abellis for gifting 10 memberships. Y'all are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that so much. That helps me out so much. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm trying to highlight the other one. I'm going to play this. Thank you guys. So sweet. Thank you so much.
I thought he cared for her the way I did.
Now, does there come a point in time in 2023 where you've kind of had enough of roommate ex-boyfriend Stefan and ask him to hit the road?
Yes.
And is that fair to say it was like October?
Maybe, yeah, like the end of October, because then I gave him all of November and told him he had to be out by December 1st, kind of thing. But yeah.
Hello,
that sounds
Angela.
right.
And then
Welcome. I
did
don't
you
know
kind of
if
ask him to leave a month
yet.
earlier and it was a source of arguments?
Yes.
Okay. So now at this point in time when he's being asked to leave, have you had any conversation with Maddie that mommy isn't together with Stefan anymore and this is kind of the ways of the world? Do you have that conversation with her?
She had, by June, she figured it out already, so she knew we weren't together or anything like that. So by December, yeah, she had already known he was leaving. And
Good morning, Zan. Welcome.
Why is he coming back to visit after he's out?
we're still friendly with each other at this point. Christmas is coming up, and we wanted to spend Christmas together. So he comes up for a few days during Christmas, and then he does visit a few more times after that, but for the day. And it's to pick up packages. He keeps getting mail delivered to my house, packages. So he just comes up and picks them up.
Is that an excuse to come by your house and see Maddie? Maybe, going to visit her while you're at work or something. Why are you not having your packages delivered to your parents' house where you're staying? Like, out of all places, your parents' house would be where they would be delivered, I would think. Why are you having it delivered there? So you can go back by there and just keep coming back and keep coming back? And Jen, you're not seeing anything wrong with this? Like, why is he wanting to continue to come back? Why are you having to put your foot down to make him leave? Good morning, evil lady. Welcome. It's nice to see you. Overprotective. Nice to see you. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for being here.
And when he comes to visit after he's been kind of kicked out, is he paying rent or how is this working? Or is he just coming to visit?
He's just coming to visit.
Is your father making any arrangements to rent bedroom number 4? Because
Overprotective. I just started this channel maybe a month or 2 ago, so it's relatively new. So you found it pretty much in the beginning. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
this is his income that he's losing.
Yeah, we had it. We had like an ad posted to see if we can get any renters.
I thought about that.
Trying to rent it out.
And let me say that is a possibility. His parents were kind of suspicious about where he was getting money to get these packages. So it is possible that he was having them delivered at Jen's house because he didn't want his parents to see the packages that he was getting and question him about the money, where he was getting the money. That is a possibility. So I do want to put that out there. Welcome, Dava. Welcome. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
But then we had to stop.
And what happens if you ended up renting room number 4? Is Stefan going to still come up and visit you and sleep in your bed?
I don't know. I hadn't even thought of it at that point.
At one point, you told investigators that Stefan was quote unquote stuck down there until they could afford for him to come back. Were there plans for him to come back?
we had discussed him coming back and living with me.
JR, I don't have links to my other channel. It is something that is not related to true crime at all. I actually doubt that any of y'all would really be interested in it. I might share it one day, but for right now, I don't share it. If somebody finds it, I might, say what it is. But it's something that has nothing to do with true crime, so I don't think y'all would really be interested in it. But I might share it one day.
We weren't sure if temporarily or like for me to help him out with the place for a little bit before he can find his own place and move out. Or we were also considering talking about living together as like the companionship. Him with my best friend who's helping me out with my child.
Because you told investigators that a lot of the reason your relationship fizzled off with Stefan was that your antidepressants. You had moved on to other people, had you not?
Yes.
And so despite having moved on with other people, you were still having Stefan come up and visit, and there were plans to cohabitate with him again, potentially.
Possibly, yes.
That's a
Maddie
great
had the
point,
opportunity to go
Angela.
visit her biological father in the fall out in Texas. Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember texting the biological father, hope nobody touches Maddie or tries shit or films her under the bathroom? You remember sending that text?
This is important.
No.
This is really important. I'm gonna pull up a picture in just a second that shows what Stefan was doing, but Stefan was placing phones under the crack of the door and he was placing it at an angle so that he could see the person in the room undressing or whatever when they had the door closed. And she texts the dad and is like, I hope nobody does that. And she's going to blame it on some case out of Texas that makes absolutely no sense. And the detectives pick up on that. Yeah, and like Zan said, funny she doesn't remember asking that. Exactly. Everything that is contradictory to her story and the narrative she wants to play, she can't seem to remember. Which again is irritating for not only us, but the police that are questioning her. And could that be a reason why they gave her limited immunity to try to get her to actually speak on the things that they know she's lying about? I'm going to pull up that picture real quick for you. Crap, it's redacted. So all that's redacted. It's not talking. And I just remembered I don't think I have it. I deleted it because I'm trying to re-download that file to
Orange
get
County Sheriff's Office back
the
in February?
audio.
No.
So I am trying to re-download the file with the pictures in it to get the audio where Jennifer's referencing the Woody Allen situation. So I apologize sincerely for mentioning that. I will pull it up though and show you guys. On probably tomorrow I will have it for you. I'm gonna double check, but I think I just deleted all the pictures because I'm gonna re-download them.
Because that seems like a very oddly specific thing to text the father. So you didn't know anything about what was going on filming underneath bathroom doors?
No idea. I don't know why I would have texted them.
June 16th of last year, about 9:30 p.m.
Oh. Actually, I can't actually think back to that.
Okay.
I think around the time that Maddie was gonna fly out to Houston, there had been an airline person that had gone into the bathroom and placed their camera on the toilet to film.
So again, and this goes into JR saying that there was something in the news about that. Again, though, and I understand it's on an airline and she would have to catch a plane, but that's a toilet. Like, why would you say, I'm concerned about, I hope nobody films her on the plane, in the bathroom, in inappropriate ways? That's referencing something that somebody did on an airline, specifically filming from the toilet, not under a door. You know what I mean? So to say specifically under the door and Stefan be filming specifically under the crack of the door, it's again questionable, in my opinion. Welcome, Francis. Welcome.
And I remember thinking, I don't want Maddie, I'm afraid of Maddie being alone on a plane because what if an attendant does that to her? I said, hold on, let me fix something in the bathroom. And in reality, they're setting up a camera because this did happen to a girl.
Okay.
So I want to say it may have been concerns over that.
Okay.
See, but again, that's setting a phone or a camera up in the bathroom, not under the crack of the door. You know what I mean?
Now, June 16th of last year at 9:30 p.m. and 27 seconds, you texted Stefan this: Maddie's no longer sleeping with me. I can't risk it. What does that mean?
Oh, that's where that came from. Okay. Got that now.
I have no idea.
How often was Maddie sleeping with you?
Sheila, welcome. I hope that helps. I switched the banner at the bottom, so that's not there anymore. I hope that helped.
Often, all the time.
Well, you keep on saying often versus all the time. Was it 100% of the time or not 100% of the time?
If she wasn't with my mom and she was with me, then yeah, she was sleeping with me.
And if she's at mom, she's 100% of the time sleeping with mom?
With
Your mom?
with my mom, or she does have her own room, I guess. Like there's another spare room she could use, but for the most part, she prefers to sleep with my mom.
Okay. Now, my understanding is that you had some sort of period tracker that you kept track of Madelaine's period with?
I had a calendar app.
Hold up. Maybe I missed it. Maybe y'all can let me know. But what are you saying you can't risk? Like, I need more detail into that because I know what I think she's saying she can't risk happening anymore or somebody finding out. But what I need to know what your explanation is for that. Eek, thank you again so much. Thank you so much. If you guys got a membership from Eek, please tell her thank you. You have such a beautiful picture, Eek, by the way. I've seen a lot of y'all's pictures. I love them. They're your little profile pictures. They're all so pretty and so unique. I love it. Thank you again, Eek. That's so sweet of you. I really appreciate that. Guys, if you are wanting a membership, make sure that you have your memberships turned on. I'm not sure how to do it. I'll have to look it up. If anybody knows, please post it in the comment. Oh, you said, well, I want a gift at Cozy Constellation. Cozy Constellation, you might not have your memberships turned on. I'm not sure. Thank you again, Eek. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. If anybody knows how to turn that on, please post it in the comments. I'll have to put it in a community post later or in a short to let you know how to do it if you don't. I know how to do it, but my phone is in there. I got the hotspot on for the kids, so I can't go get my phone right now. If I could, though, I would look for it, but I'll let y'all know later. Eek, goodness gracious, thank you. Thank you so much. My goodness, you're just gifting away. Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
That
Calendar.
I would write what days she would get her period. Yeah.
And obviously, Madelaine doesn't have a job, so
Dan, I think you'll have an option. You can like you'll have to put a card or some sort on your profile, and it'll charge you $1.99 a month. I think it's through Google Play, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. You should be able to look at your profile, or you could always ask Google, or ask YouTube how to make sure that you can continue paying for it if you want to do that. Thank you again, Eek. My goodness. Thank you, everybody. Y'all are so awesome. Thank you so much.
she's not going out and buying the products that she would need if she had her period, right? You would have to do that for her.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
So do you remember her using any of those products at all in February? Because I assume you take the trash out, or does she take the trash out, or how does all this work?
I take the trash out. In February, no, I didn't notice her using any of her feminine hygiene products.
Did you have any conversations with her about that?
No, but I didn't notice until after everything.
Because it would have been due like at the beginning of February, and this all happens at the end of February. So
So if they're asking about the period tracking thing, then her being with child is possible. And I would wonder, welcome Florida girl, by the way. So this is all the way in April. I'm not sure if it's before the autopsy has been performed, but I would think that it is. And again, if they know that she's not pregnant and it's not pertinent information, then why are they asking her about it? I mean, could they just want the information? Sure. But if it's all the way in April, the autopsy has been performed, they know that she either is or is not pregnant. Why would they still be asking about her period? And if you were tracking it, if you knew something after the autopsy has been performed, right? Because if you do the autopsy and you know she's not pregnant, then why would you not do that? Why would you be asking about it still, you know, at this point? Um, so again, I have to question if it is possible that she was with child. And again, even if she wasn't, is it possible that it was a theory? Like maybe that's why they continue asking her, because if a pregnancy test was missing from under the cabinet, and Stefan possibly thought that she was with child, then is that the motive for murder? So I guess either way, but it would make me lean towards more that they found something in the autopsy.
So she's almost due again in March. So you never had any conversations with her about not having her period at the beginning of February?
No, she's had other periods that have been missed or like super late, so I just assumed this was gonna be one of those situations again.
Okay.
But no, I didn't.
Did you ever discuss her periods or lack of periods with Stefan?
Me too, Christina. And yeah, JR, usually they are
It's my
irregular.
understanding that Maddie had to take Miralax. I'm familiar with that myself because of my daughter when she was little. So she had constipation issues?
Yeah.
Would it ever cause her discomfort, physical pain, bleeding?
Yes.
And how are you aware of that?
You know, that's a good question, Cozy. Like, if we know that Jennifer, again, let me reiterate, this is all speculation, my theories, my thoughts, my opinions. If we know that Jennifer wasn't having relations and wasn't trying to have another child, why? I mean, I don't know. Me personally, like, I'm not just keeping pregnancy tests lying around my house. Maybe if you were having unprotected relations, like if she was dating somebody or something and having unprotected relations, you would want to make sure. But it is kind of questionable. Or, I mean, and it could also be like maybe at one time she was trying to get pregnant and then, you know, plans changed when they broke up and they were just there. That's a possibility.
She would tell me.
I hope
There have
everybody's okay,
been
Florida girl, down there.
moments. So we've gone to doctor's appointments. They've run a lot of tests on her. They told me why her body is doing what it's doing. But
Welcome, Wonder Woman. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
she's shown me if there was blood or if she's in the bathroom and she just can't go, like it's stuck. She showed me that too. So
Did she ever specifically seek treatment
Thank
for
you,
tears or bleeding or
yeah,
anything
Anders,
due to
I
her
agree.
bowel movements?
I hope not.
no, I don't think so. Tears or anything like that. No, I don't think there was ever a tear.
On February 26th, the whole purpose of Stefan coming and taking Madelaine to school was so that you could get some sleep. You had missed your medication Saturday night, so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
Is there any particular reason Stefan couldn't have driven your car to take Madelaine to school and therefore not embarrass her and he could just drop her off normally?
Now that, I want to tell you, I have a theory. I don't think that it was going to embarrass her, the car in particular. I think Maddie didn't want Stefan to take her to school because Maddie, she didn't want Stefan to see her. Like if she had a friend that was a guy, maybe she walked up to him or saw him in the carpool line or, you know, coming out of school. I think that's why she didn't want Stefan to necessarily take her to school. I think it was more of she didn't want him seeing her talking to a guy. Bambina, you know, now that you say that, if I ever thought I was with child, yeah, I would go and just buy a test at the store. They're like expensive. They're like $20, $30 a piece. So yeah, it wouldn't be just something I have laying around. Even the ones at Dollar Tree, again, I would have just went and got one if I thought I was, you know what I mean? Yeah, so, but not everybody's the same.
Yes, but because he's on my car insurance, I was very nervous to let him drive my car.
You did let him drive your car after this occurred, though, right?
Yes, but he was very insistent because he wanted to go look for Maddie, and he had a spare on his car because he had a flat, so he couldn't drive his car. So he just really wanted to go out. So I just let him, but I wasn't comfortable with it.
During your previous interviews, and you did it once today, you kind of interchanged I, we, or Stefan dropping Madelaine off at school. Did you see Madelaine at all on February 26th, 2024, that Monday?
No.
Do you know anything about how she died?
No.
Did Stefan tell you anything about how she died?
No.
Did Stefan tell you about his plans to go back down to Northport in your car that Wednesday morning?
Mm-hmm.
Got any questions, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting close.
I'm going to jump through because I was making notes as we were going on. So how frequently did Stefan come up here after he moved back to Northport?
I'm going to say
How many times total do you think he came back here?
2 to 3 times.
Do you remember if those were around specific dates?
One was like the week of Christmas. I can't remember when the other one was.
Was Stefan in town the week or two prior to this last time he came?
I don't remember. It's possible, but I don't remember. Everything is becoming a blur.
Do you remember sending him a text message asking if he can babysit Maddie while you go have lunch with your friend?
This was a few weeks before.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going out a few weeks before. I don't remember asking him to babysit. I don't know where he was.
Did you ever go to lunch with your friend? And he babysat her?
I did go to lunch with my friend, but I don't think he was here. I think Maddie stayed home alone for a few hours.
Okay. When you mentioned Maddie caught on about you guys being broke up, how did that?
But they've got the text messages, so they know that you text Stefan and asked him that, or they wouldn't be asking about it. Michelle, I haven't looked recently into, like, this week into the Sarah case. I can't remember her last name. We did talk about it on One Live, but I haven't looked into it. I need to see what's going on. That girl is something else.
Did that happen? What did she say? Or
I forgot. Me and Stefan were having a conversation, and she goes, "Are you guys broken up?" And we kind of looked at her and we're like, "Why do you ask?" She goes, "Because you guys are kind of acting like you're broken up. You guys haven't
Lord have
hugged and
mercy
kissed in
over
a long
Kentucky.
time." And we're like, "Okay." So we just kind of.
how do you think she felt about that?
Fine. She didn't act sad or happy or anything. You're just like, whatever.
Ivana, that's a good point. Like, everything else she has to and thank for like an extended period of time. And then she answers so quickly with other things. Like, that tells me again that when you're answering quickly, that's the truth. When you're pausing for a long time, you're trying to figure out what you're going to say. What lie you're going to tell.
All right. Now you mentioned to me before too that you found her phone on her dresser in like her little bedroom area. Does she have a specific
JR, that's a good point. I think they said not that often, but it could have been never. So that's also a great point.
spot where she plugs in her phone to charge? How does she charge her phone?
So on her side of my bed, she's got a long charger. She'll connect it there to charge. Don't know how she charged it that night though. Don't know if she took her charger and moved it to the room upstairs. Not sure.
How do you charge your phone?
Right,
I
JR.
charge my phone with my charger next to me on my side of the bed.
Okay, is it one that you plug in or
The magnetic one.
okay? Now, when you go to bed at night, is there any kind of routine that you do with your phone? If you're texting, looking on TikTok or whatever, and you go to bed, you just set your phone down and go to sleep, or what's that routine like?
I'll TikTok until I start dozing off, and then I'll put my phone on the charger, make sure my alarm's on, and then
Bambina, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, but you know, it could also be a side effect of medicine. But yeah, I referenced that earlier in the interview. And it's so sad and unfortunate just to imagine what this poor child was going through. I wish I could hug her. And I'm glad that everybody, you know, even though it was in death, everybody gets to see her beautiful face. She gets to tell her story, even though it was after death. And this man is going to pay for what he did. And I find comfort and solace in that. But this case is a very horrific one. It's bad. Audrey Cunningham was bad too, but this is, you know, to know all the years and things that were the abuse, it's just so sad. I've cried looking at these files and listening to this evidence several times. It's hard not to, you know.
then yeah, just lay down, close my eyes, and hope not to think of too much, and just fall asleep.
Okay, that night, Saturday or Sunday night, when you guys when spending this half hour of time together, was all that you were doing was talking about gifts and counting her money, or were you guys doing anything else?
Just asking her for more details about the party and to tell me like what I missed. She seemed like she had a really good time.
When you got home from work that day, where was everybody?
So, Angela, they probably got him in PC, which is protective custody. That's usually where they put people who hurt children, because they know if they put him in general pop, they're going to get possibly murdered. So I don't know. I would think he's in PC, and he wouldn't necessarily have to worry about that, because the other people in protective custody would be offenders that did things like he did. But I mean, maybe you could be scared of some of those people, I would think. Maybe. I don't know. And they might not have him in PC, but I would think they did. I would think they usually put those kind of offenders in PC.
I think everyone was in my room, hanging out in my room.
Okay, everybody meaning
Maddie and Stefan were there.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Now it's obvious that you and Stefan communicate via text message and phone calls and stuff like that. What is Google Meet?
What is Google Meet? That is like Google's version of FaceTime. So just face chatting,
Okay.
video chatting.
Okay. When her birthday party was planned, was this planned before you got your job or after?
The birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was planned before, because once I saw my schedule and I saw that it was during a training day, and I wasn't going to call out. I considered free.
So I can understand that if you're training and it's your first couple of days at work, you might not want to call out. I can get that. About the birthday party, I would hope they did something on that Thursday. That was her actual birthday, but I would think if they did, she would mention that. Welcome, Rachel. Nice to see you. Thank you guys for all your wonderful comments. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I would hope, I mean, you know, because if you're training and then you tell them you have to be out on a day that you're training, chances are they're going to tell you to just not come back. And if you really need the job, then that's going to hurt you in the long run. So I could understand maybe not taking off for the birthday party, but again, I would hope they did something on that Thursday on her actual birthday. But I would think she would mention it if they did. I hope she did something with her.
Rescheduling the party, but my family was insistent to just keep it that day. I said, okay.
All right, so Stefan moves out of his room, and I think you mentioned that your dad had plans on renting that room again to somebody else. Is that right?
Yeah.
How was that room set up? How was Stefan's room set up after he moved out?
Good point, Michelle.
Pretty much the
Best,
same. Pretty much the same. The bed was in the same location.
Oh, I think she just said when she saw her schedule and saw it was the same time that the party had already been planned, then she was like, oh, that sucks. So maybe that's why it had already been planned.
It's gonna be the TV, the dresser, the desk, and the mini fridge. Everything stayed in the same location.
Okay, was the bed and did it have comforter, blankets, and all that stuff on it, or?
Welcome, Francis.
When he moved out, everything was empty. There was
Okay,
a
I'm glad to
mattress
know that.
protector
Francis.
cover
Thank
on
you
it.
for letting us know.
But I had clean sheets and clean blankets to put on, like they're available. So
Where were they available?
in the closet.
Okay.
And I did, yeah. Now that I don't know they were there.
Do you know if he made the bed?
I don't know, but I'm going to assume he.
Well, I don't understand why he would make the bed if that's not something he normally did. We heard the roommate talking about him washing clothes and how unusual that was the day that everything happened. And JR, you're right. You're definitely right. It's just frustrating because it seems like, I mean, it's just like, for normal people, it's like, how could you not have known? But we do need to keep in mind that there is a possibility that she didn't know. Again, but I mean, I would question, why are they giving you limited immunity if they felt like you were telling the truth, you really didn't know anything, you weren't lying, then why are they bribing you with limited immunity to get you to talk? You know what I mean? And then, getting a lawyer for Stefan immediately after you found out what he had been doing to your child for all these years to get, I mean, even the detectives found that weird, you know?
What did the blankets look like that would be used to make that bed?
They would be white.
Welcome, Thrive. Thank you.
White cotton, linen sheets with.
Anders Thrive is a like weight loss. I think they have shakes and different other things, and it's like gives you energy. I looked into it at one point, but I never did it.
They're white, but they're white stripes, different shades of white. So white stripes going down it.
You're right,
That
JR.
was a fitted cover, then a sheet, and then the pillowcases. And should have been like a warm blanket in the closet somewhere.
The same color, white, or
Maybe gray.
Welcome,
when you say
Amabara.
there's pillowcases, how many pillows were on the bed?
That reminds me, your name reminds me, my kids walk around and sing this song. They're like, capybara, 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 capybara. So that's what reminds me of your name.
I'm not sure. I know that we had taken things out of that room before. I don't know if we used those pillows. I'm not
Right.
sure what pillows were up there.
Sam?
Okay, did you ever go into the room after you discovered that she was missing? Did you go upstairs to that
I'm
bedroom?
with you, Cozy.
No. So when you go to sleep in your room, and you're either with Maddie or without Maddie or with Stefan, is your door open, closed, lights on, lights off?
Diane, I
When I go to
think
sleep?
so too.
So I have a cat. I can't shut the door. I have to leave it cracked.
Mhm.
So it stays cracked, with a little like a door stopper
Mhm.
behind it, so it doesn't open all the way because my cat will just knock it over. Yeah, but we sleep with the door cracked.
Okay, lights on, lights off.
Lights off with a YouTube video playing in the background, playing rain sounds.
Michelle, I think it's a Southern thing, because if I was going to say cotton, I'd say cotton. Or water. I say water for water. I say water, go get you some water, because the kids pick on me. They will say, I say it's syrup, and they will say syrup. They call it syrup. And I'm like, it's not syrup, it's syrup. It just, so I think it's just a Southern thing, probably.
Okay, would the screen be illuminated, or is it something where a screen, like a phone, where the screen goes black and it still plays?
It goes black, yeah. So
Okay. Do you remember it that night, if you were listening to those YouTube videos, or?
Probably was. I listen to it every night, so I probably was.
Does it shut off automatically?
Around like 4 or 5 a.m., but then I'll notice and I'll press play again.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you're easily woken up, or no? By sounds like that, or?
I'm not sure I'm easily woken up.
Why do you got to think? Again, that's a pretty easy question to answer. When we get done with this one, I'm going to go over the counselor interview, and then that'll probably be it for me today. But I do want to go over the counselor one with you guys, so we can do the sheriff and a judge tomorrow.
Okay. Now, the purpose of you telling or having Maddie sleep with Stefan upstairs is because you told me before that you needed a good night's sleep.
Welcome, Cheyenne.
If you needed
Somebody
this
else
kind of
come in
sleep
here.
previously to when Stefan wasn't there, what would happen?
You mean if Stefan wasn't there?
Welcome,
and I needed to
military
step
mom.
asleep?
Mhm.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody.
It depends.
I didn't say hey to you,
If I had
Rachel.
missed my meds the way
Hi,
I
good
missed
morning.
them at night, and I wasn't feeling, or I was feeling just how I was feeling, I'm not sure if I would have had her have her sleep with me on the other side of the bed, or if I would have sent her upstairs to the guest room. But she sleeps like a monkey. She rolls. She'll start on one end of the bed and end up on top of me by the end of the night. And she's a gymnast, I guess. But
Have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep?
not for any of these reasons.
But Stefan's ex-girlfriend stated that he had to get home so that him and Maddie could sleep together and he could cuddle her. And when the roommate was trying to wake your ass up because somebody was breaking in your car, you didn't wake up. It was hard for her to wake you up, but you can't sleep with Maddie in the bed. Like, again, doesn't make sense to me.
Have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep by herself?
Oh,
Mhm.
no.
I'm gonna need to wrap this up.
Cozy, that's sad. I hate to hear
Okay,
that.
one more question. Does anybody use your phone other than you?
No, except for the day that we were sitting in front of my house. And,
Welcome, Lisa. And that's a great point.
Forensics was in the house. That was the only time I've ever let anyone use my phone, and that was Stefan. Stefan had my phone.
What about, do you wear an Apple Watch?
Yes.
Does it track any of your movements or anything like that you know of? Do you sleep with your watch on?
No, I hardly ever put it on, honestly.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else.
Do you have anything real quick, Danielle?
No.
Do you have anything that you think we should know, Matthews?
Unfortunately, no.
Good down there?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, it's 10:06 a.m. We will conclude this investigative subpoena interview with you, Ms. Soto. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the interview with Madelaine's counselor, and we'll go over that real quick while we are here. And then after that, I don't know. If I'll have time, I'll do one of the teachers too with you guys.
Every college student needs to have Grammarly.
Hold on just a minute. Oh, by the way,
Today's date.
I did get it let me do 4 emojis for the memberships. So I did the little bullshit boy, the guy, the preacher, that the religious leader that says, "Ooh, brother, ooh." He's one of the emojis, and then one of them says speculation family or speculation station, I can't remember, and the other one says hold on just a minute. So you guys do have those, the members, just to let you know, by the way.
It is February 29th, 2024. The time is 13:02 hours. It's gonna be
I'm just letting you know because I had stated earlier that I would do that. And I forgot to let you guys know
reference
that
to Orange County case number 24-011313. I'm Detective Bradshaw with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Ma'am, could you state your first and last name for me, please? We're here today to kind of talk about.
Oh, Zan, it says it. Okay, so I'm on a computer and it gives me like what I wrote in the thing. That's cool. Hello. What is it for 6? I want to say 6-tuplet, but it's not. So triple X. I'm gonna call you Triple X. Welcome, Triple X. That reminds me of Vin Diesel. Do you look like Vin Diesel, Triple X?
Out the situation that's in. I have a couple of specific questions that I have to ask you.
Guys, that's so awesome.
But can you tell me a little bit about, like, what you know, your relationship with her is, just any information that you could give me on that?
So I met her at the beginning of this school year in an ESE meeting. She was being transferred over from 5.
You're right, Cozy, because yeah, when I was on them, if I missed one day, I mean, if I missed like 2 or 3, I could tell. But not just one day. You're right. Yeah, JR, I know that, but I know it was also from a movie. So I choose to relate it to the movie and not for the adult thing. Maybe I should say quadruple, but I think that's not right. I'll have to figure out what the word is for 6, and we'll call it that.
504, that she was under that in 6th grade with our 6th grade counselor, Miss Merritt.
Okay.
Transferring over at the beginning of this year to the ESE services with our ESE staffing specialist, Miss McGregor. So I was sitting in on that meeting. In that meeting, they approved that switch and she got switched over. I heard a little bit about her background in terms of having ADHD, a lot of problems with focus that affects her schoolwork and grades.
JR, it's a really good movie. You should watch it. It's from back when I was younger.
And then some mental health concerns in terms of a lot of anxiety and panic attacks.
Is it then?
So from there, I have been doing ongoing check-ins with her throughout the school year thus far.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've met about, I was looking at it earlier, 6 times.
Okay, since the beginning of the school year?
Correct.
Got it, okay.
When she has come to me, it's often been those feelings of panic. She's come to me like in the middle of class or during lunchtime, just feeling really panicked, kind of heavy breathing, feeling really overwhelmed. And when we've had our conversations about, well, what's going on, what's making you feel this way, I've gotten responses saying, well, it's my anxiety. Sometimes I don't know. I'm just really overstimulated with all the noise in the cafeteria. But I've also gotten responses with, well, things at home with her. And when I pressed about that, it seemed to be things along the lines of, well, she gets upset that I'm forgetful or that I don't clean my room the way she wants me to.
Okay, several things to say about that. And again, it hurts my heart to hear this because I think that school was one of the few places that Maddie felt safe and was able to be herself. That's why I put out these interviews, because it gives us an idea of who Maddie was when she felt safe. And everything that's going on in her life is bothering her so bad that she can't, that when she goes to school, she's having panic attacks, just probably thinking about, it's almost time to go home. I don't want to go home. You know, her and Jen arguing about cleaning her cubby hole, because I'm gonna not choose to call it a room. It it bothers me because I would hope that being around her friends in places that she knew she was safe, she could actually be herself. And she's having panic attacks and anxiety even there. It's really sad. I'm glad she had this lady to talk to, but I wish that none of this had ever happened to her. She didn't deserve this, and neither does anybody else.
And we talked about what that does to affect her. And she
Right,
says,
JR?
yelling, that makes me get overstimulated, and then I can't respond to her in a way that she wants me to. So we discussed strategies for kind of calming herself down and talk. She's calm about how that makes her feel. And she reported to me that she did have that conversation for our past check-in since December. So December, January, February, we had a check-in every single month, and each of those check-ins she had said to me, things are better at home and things are a little bit better at school, and I haven't had her come to me in months with any sort of panic or anxiety. I did have her.
And this is the time period that Stefan has gone from the house. And I would assume that the school counselor is in contact with the mom saying, you know, hey, Maddie had an anxiety attack today. Maddie was feeling very anxious today. Maddie had a hard time at school today. Usually that's how the counselors from school are. They contact the parents and they don't tell them what they talked about necessarily, but will say, Maddie's having a hard time at school today, this week, this month, whatever. And then the fact that, I mean, would Jen not have noticed that she wasn't getting phone calls? She wasn't getting questioned, or, you know, Maddie wasn't having issues at school when Stefan was gone. But then you bring him right back in the house. You know, I mean, it's just devastating for her.
Mention on occasion her home situation at that time was when I asked her about that, the only thing she really said was, I don't really like him. He's kind of weird. So I said, okay, well, what does that mean? How is he weird? Why don't you like him? And her responses were nothing of that level of concern. It was always, well, he eats all of our food and he hangs out in the living room and it makes me uncomfortable because I don't really like him, so I don't want him to be there. But nothing ever to the level of concern that we're seeing now. And
yeah, like somebody said earlier, Steph is running around saying, oh, I'm her favorite person. I'm the one that comforts her. But in the place where she feels most comfortable to say how she's really feeling and let her real opinions and thoughts and things out, she's telling her counselor, who she feels safe talking to, you know, he makes me uncomfortable. He eats all our food. I don't like him. Da 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 da. And again, I mean, just off the top of my head, if you've got a kid in the house and you're eating all the snacks, and then the kid goes in the kitchen and is like, hey, where are the Pringles? And then you're like, oh, I ate them all. Like, would you not eventually? I mean, that would make me feel bad. And I'd be like, dang, next time I'm not going to eat all the Pringles. I'm going to make sure that, you know, said child, I'll offer them some before I eat them all or whatever. That's just my thought process on that. But no, it seems like it was a continual thing. Because not he ate all the food once, it's he eats, plural, all the food. He makes me uncomfortable. And of course she felt like she couldn't tell anybody, but I'm glad that she was able to at least tell that. And again, did Jen not know these things? Or was she having to play a role of a different child when she was at home, to the point that Stefan thought he was her favorite person? And then at school, where she's able to be herself, she was able to finally breathe and for a minute. And when she's able to breathe for a minute, she's having anxiety attacks out the ass. You know, it's this is a hard interview, and I do have my trigger warning up. It's hard, but it gives us perspective that I feel like we need in order to understand her and help her tell her story.
The last thing I heard about him was he's moving out. I'm happy about that, and that's helping me feel better.
When was that conversation that he was moving out?
That was about a couple of months ago, so I would say around December.
Okay, so sometime in December, you guys had a meeting and she said,
life is a little
Sorry, guys, that's new for me. Just got monetized, which is yay. Okay, hold on just a minute.
okay, got it. Did she ever mention anything to you about having depression or like suicidal thoughts or any suicidal attempts or anything like that?
She never mentioned anything along those lines. It was always more so focused on the anxiety and the panic.
Okay.
And a lot of times she wasn't able to verbally articulate what exactly was making that panic arise beyond feeling overstimulated or just
Gotcha.
not knowing.
Okay. So she never mentioned to you about wanting to hurt herself, wanting to die, wanting to, nothing like that.
She never mentioned wanting to harm herself or wanting to die. She made comments in the interactions where she was feeling panicky, saying things more so like, you know, this hurts and I don't like this or want to deal with this, but it was never anything like I want to hurt myself or end my life or anything along those lines.
Gotcha. Okay. And she didn't disclose that she was taking medication for anything other than.
Sorry, my internet cut out. I wanted to back that up just a second, because I thought I heard something that I hadn't caught before.
He's saying things more so like, you know, this hurts and I don't like this or want to deal with this, but it was never anything like I want to hurt myself or end my life or anything along those lines.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good Lord.
And she didn't disclose that she was taking medication.
So she's telling her, like, when she's acting out or talking about, you know, what her issues are. I know the counselor like had her draw what was bothering her because it was hard for her to speak about it. And she's saying this hurts. I don't like this. It again brings another level of just sadness for her and everything she was going through.
For anything other than just the anxiety or for the ADHD and the anxiety.
I didn't talk to her specifically about medication and I can't recall what was said. It would be in the ESC meeting notes if it was discussed that she was or wasn't on medication.
And she has an IEP, you said, correct? So she switched from the 504 to the IEP.
Yes.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. Did she mention anything just didn't like him because he ate their food and he was in their living room? Like, did she say anything else to you, disclose anything to you?
She did not. She didn't talk about asked her about those comments of him being weird and uncomfortable. The only things she gave me were, well, I don't know, he's just a little weird. He eats our food and he's always hanging out in the living room and I don't really want to be around him and nothing. And the way she said it was so like joking in terms like, I don't know, he's weird type situation, like laughing about it. It never made me feel like there was a safety concern.
And I think she's valid in that if you don't think that there's an actual safety concern, you really can't do anything. But she's saying he's always hanging out in the living room, yet he's renting a room. So if you're renting a room, typically you would hang out in that room, number one. And number two, Jen said that he was always in her room sitting on her bed because that was the hangout spot. So which is it? I'm going with what Madelaine told the counselor, which was he was always on the couch watching her, hovering over her, keeping an eye on her, you know?
Okay, so she didn't disclose anything about him ever touching her inappropriately or them having any sort of a sexual relationship or them having any sort of an inappropriate relationship whatsoever. None of that was ever disclosed or
anything along.
Yeah, JR, I do get paid from YouTube, which is cool because I do this because I enjoy getting the information for myself and I'm glad to put it out for you guys. Like the documents, memberships, that's so that you guys could take those documents and you can read them or you can make your own YouTube channel. All of these, you know, without commentary, or so you guys can use them if you want to. That's my hope in this channel, and giving my thoughts and opinions on the lives. But it is nice to make a little bit of money from doing that. So I do appreciate you guys being here and subscribing and doing everything you do, because that's what makes that possible. And thank you guys so much for that, because it's all because of you subscribing and hitting the thumbs up and all of that things that all of this was even possible. I really appreciate it.
Brought up to you. Okay. Let me check and see. There's, like I said, there's some other questions that I have to ask, and I just want to make sure that I touched on them. Okay. Did you ever see, I know we talked about like the anxiety and the panic attacks, and you said she never, mentioned anything about being depressed or being suicidal or anything. Did you ever see her?
Michelle says, is that a filter adding nose ring, I wonder, or did she really have a nose ring? This is the only photo that I've seen of this. Thank you, Abellis, for giving 10 more memberships. I really appreciate that. That helps me so much. Thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. About the nose ring, I've heard both. I've heard that she actually had her nose pierced, and I've also heard that it's fake. I will tell you, I played a trick on my mom once and got my, I think she was like 15 at the time. I got her a fake nose ring, and we put it on and showed my mom as like a joke. So I know there are fake nose rings that make it look like that. I saw some, Melissa, welcome. Hi, everybody. Thank you again, Abellis. Thank you so much. JR says she wears nose rings and had a little box of them in her room. Yeah, that was what I'd heard, that there was a box on her dresser of nose rings. So I think that maybe she did have it pierced. But again, I question, because like even at a tattoo shop, you have to be 16 and your parent has to be there. So how did she do it herself?
Exhibit any of those behaviors, like that she is depressed, or that she, like, did you notice anything about her that was out of the ordinary other than the things we've already talked about?
It seemed more so to be very up and down.
Okay.
Like she would have those heightened moments of the panic and the crying, and just kind of, she would go from that to just like shutting down after the panic. And then if you talked her through it a little bit, like there's one specific instance in my statement that she could not say what was making her feel that way. And so I asked her to draw it out, and she was able to do that.
Okay.
And then she kind of put on there just like a lot of scribbles, which to her, she said that meant just like.
Thank you, Melissa Myers. And thank you for saying that. That was such a nice thing to say. Thank you, Eek. Goodness gracious. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Welcome, Steelers. It's good to see you. JJ, good morning. Good to see you. Nice to see you guys. So No says, or was that Nolly? I'm sorry. Nolly says that she saw one in the box and they were the fake ones. Okay, so I hope they were. She's a little young to have like, a permanent piercing like that, in my opinion. I have my nose pierced, but it's just the nostrils. But I was 18 before I had that done. Welcome, JJ. Welcome, Nolly. Yes, welcome, everybody. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys like it here. Thank you. Also, I love hearing your thoughts and opinions, and I hope I provide a safe place for us to speculate and give our thoughts and opinions. I love the thoughts and opinions you guys have, and thank you guys for sharing that.
Like the chaos of all the feelings and thoughts that she's having that make her feel overwhelmed. And then words she wrote. So things along the lines of like, why, or crying and things like that. And after that happened, I reached out that she wasn't at school for a couple days. So I was like concerned of, okay, we went from this to now being out. What is happening? I reached out. And at that point, he's been struggling lately, a lot of tears and feelings, but that she was seeing a weekly therapist.
So we're going to continue on with that. But again, to reiterate, she's drawing her feeling out and she just scribbles on the paper and says why and cries. And again, it's hard to hear because that's really how she felt about everything. That's really just depicting what she's going through, you know, the scribbles, confusion. Why are you doing this to me? Crying, pain, it hurts, you know, all of the things. And then the counselor sees the need enough in that to call Jen. Jen keeps her out of school for a couple of days. And I'm thinking, like, my thought process is that Jen would have kept her out of school for a couple of days to talk to her. You know, why are you feeling this way? What does this mean? Talk to me, baby. Tell me what's going on. Talk to me. Let me know why you're feeling this way. And I would imagine that in that moment, at least, Maddie would have felt safe enough to tell her. So when did this happen? Like, was it way beforehand? And I'm thinking if you kept her out for a couple of days, it would be because she told you and you're trying to grapple with that situation and figure out how to deal with it, what to do. And instead of getting this monster away from her, you keep bringing him back in. Like, even if that was the point that she broke up with Stefan, you kept bringing him back. You know? Thank you, Abellis. Thank you, Abellis. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. I will one day. Thank you, though. Yeah, I'll tell you one day. I'll tell you on my other channel one day too, but not yet. Not right now. Welcome, Francis. I don't know if I've said hey to you yet. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you again, Abellis and Eek and all the other people who have been helping out by gifting and all of the things. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for subscribing and hitting the thumbs up and just hanging out. Thank you so much. It all helps.
So she supposedly had someone that she was seeing weekly about all of this.
Okay.
And also stated at that point she hadn't been at school because she was sick and she was going to take her to the doctor that day.
Welcome, Ollie. I don't know if I said hey to you. Ollie says it's also deeply upsetting to me how her teacher saw all the signs of her abuse and yet did nothing. I understand kids are sometimes withdrawn or sleepy because of other reasons, but no one ever reported. Yeah, that was concerning to me that she was always sleepy in class, and sleeping. Again, like y'all were saying earlier, I would have called and just had them do a wellness check, or usually they have like a on-call social worker at the school. And that could have been the counselor, but like maybe even had her talk to her. But again, Maddie's got a counselor and she's talking to her and not really talking about what's going on. So would she have told the on-call child protective services worker or not, you know? Because she felt like she couldn't talk to anybody about it. And I could not imagine what she's dealing with, especially at that age, to have something that you have to hold inside like that.
Day, and she mentioned seeing the drawing that from our.
Thank you, Overprotected. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. You guys are, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like it. It's been nice. If you guys notice that there's too many ads, please let me know, because if it gets to be too much, I'll try to slow it down. I don't know how to do that, but if I figure out how, I'll do that. I don't think it's too much right now from what I'm noticing anyway. Thank you so much, Overprotective and everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Our conversation, and I, encouraged her to share that with Mom, so she did. And she said that she appreciated that and that helped her in that day, which at the end of that conversation with her, she was able to calm down and feel better. But at that point, that's when it got a little concerning, to the point that I reached out to Mom just to say, hey, what's going on? And found out, okay, she at least has supposedly weekly therapy sessions outside of school.
And most of these things you said that would trigger these panic attacks or these anxiety inducing issues were because of issues that were going on with them, correct? Like where she would argue with.
It seemed to be a combination of bringing that from home, the arguments and the feeling like she's taking on those feelings at home of, I don't feel safe in terms of not necessarily physically safe, but emotionally safe, that at me and causing me to feel overstimulated. And then
Okay.
I come to school and it's loud and there's lots of kids and
Right.
I'm overstimulated again.
But it wasn't. It's usually.
And things she said along the lines of, my room's not clean, or you forget to do this, or you don't do
Okay.
that. So to me, that's like things about it was never,
Especially at that
anything.
age, with the
Right.
teenage age, you know. Okay.
So again, she's stating that she just thought it was normal because again, like JR said, you can't just like go around thinking that all of it is that. It could just be adolescence and hormones. It's a hard time and it's a hard thing to decipher. It's easy to say, well, if knowing what we know now, if I'd have been in that situation, I would have done this, this, and this. But it's hard to say what you would actually do unless you're in that situation. God forbid.
Okay, so how about her grades or her behavior? Have you noticed any shift in her grades or the behavior that she would normally exhibit?
Grades have seemed stable. We've been working on in our check-ins, kind of coming up with strategies because of her ADHD and in terms of getting her missing work in to bring up the grades. And she seemed to be making improvements with that since around December when she started reporting things are better at home, at school.
Okay.
Our last check-in was February 6th, I believe. And at that point, she was very happy that day. I called her down just to do our check-in and she said things.
Eek, overprotected. I don't know what you're referring to with Eek, but don't ever feel like you have to do anything. We all love everybody here. We're all part of a speculating family. Everybody is loved here. Don't ever feel like you absolutely have to do anything. You guys either Eek and Annabellis. I appreciate you guys doing that. Don't get me wrong. That's really sweet, but I don't want anybody to ever feel like they ever have to do anything at all. We all love each other here at the speculating family.
Things are going really well. She feels really happy. Things are better. Things are better at school. And that was the last time we had a check-in.
And that was because of the strategies that you had kind of given her to help her.
Yes,
with...
she had been getting some of that work in. Her teachers are working with her because she has the IEP. And she said that she used the strategies at home to talk about the when we're calm, let's talk about what it's like when we're not calm and how that makes us feel.
Gotcha.
She said she was able to successfully do that.
Good. That's excellent. Okay. I know we talked a lot about
Thank you, Jenny. She always puts everything
kind of just
words
briefly mentioned with her. And I know you've only known her for a short period of time, but you haven't noticed a dramatic shift from when you first met her to now that's negative. Have you?
Correct. When this first came up.
That sounds cool. Overprotected. I'm going to come check you out. I'll give you a subscribe.
My first thoughts are, oh, things have been better. So
okay.
I'm like.
So it's surprising to you, it sounds like. How did we get to this point?
Yes.
Okay. So there's nothing that would stand out to you that would make you think that something was on, that things were declining at home. You actually thought things were actually getting better at home based on what she was.
Because they were until this monster showed back up. Michelle, you're good, babe. I've got literally 2 minutes of this, and then that's probably going to be it for me today. I'm going to try to find some more interviews to get out for you guys, but I'll talk to you about that in just a second.
She was telling you.
From the information that I had from her, without at that point having spoken to friends or anything I had, to me, the perception was things are getting better.
And what was the last date that you met with her?
February 6th.
Right before everything
and that was
happened. What is that, 20 days before it happened, if I'm not mistaken? Cozy, I'll come check you out too.
Date that she was like, hey, things are getting better. We're using these strategies at home and all of that. Got it.
Okay. We were supposed to have our next session to follow up this week. And obviously I haven't been able to do that.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of that I have not asked you that you want to relate to me while I have you in here?
To me, the only things that are sticking are the comments of he is weird and I don't like him. And
Okay.
I wish I had more information to
Oh, I know,
say
sweetheart. I
where
just
that
know you
came
didn't want to
from,
miss
but
any.
when I asked that, all I got was he eats our food, he hangs out in the common areas.
Okay. Okay. All right. Do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the time is now 13:15 hours.
Okay, so that was all of that interview, and that interview was hard. That interview's a hard one to hear. I hate that she was dealing with all this and just holding it inside because she felt like she couldn't tell anybody. Hello, Spirit Seeker Squad. Welcome, 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 my padre, my padre. I like that, my padre. Thank you, my padre, for saying that. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Spirit Seeker Squad. Oh, yeah, you're welcome for the coverage of Maddie Spirit Seeker. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate it. I hope that the Court of Public Opinion. Good morning. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I love that. I like your name. Spirit Seeker Squad, I'm glad you've been enjoying the videos. Eek, I don't know if Jenny Jen knows anything about that. I don't know much about that, so you'd have to I don't know. I'll look into it and let you know. Because I don't know anything about Discord, honestly. Yeah, Michelle, that's true. Wonder Woman, I did do the interview with Maddie's best friend. It's in one of my previous lives, I do believe, but the video is out there. If you want me, or I don't know if you're asking me to talk about it again, I can. If not, I will post what video that is. I think I did talk about it in a live, and I'll post what live that was on my comment section if I have already. So check that out. Also gonna go subscribe to you guys that I told you I would subscribe to. Thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Mallory Discord. Sorry if I said it wrong. You can tell I don't mess with those things. Yeah, Spirit Seeker Squad. I've seen you before. I'll go check you out too. All right. So thank you guys all for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have the best day that you've ever had in your whole entire life. We will be back in the morning. I will be talking about the sheriff and the judge. I do have a video that I want to go over on that, and I'm actually going to work today on pulling all the missing persons in that area going back about 25 years and see if we've got any weird cases going on, like the one that woman is talking about in the video I put on my community post. So tomorrow we're going to kind of deep dive the sheriff and the judge. So if you're interested in that case, please make your way back in the morning at about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is usually when I start. If you guys want me to start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, let me know in the comment section and I can make it a little later if it needs to be later for you guys. Thank you guys again so much for being here. And again, I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have, again, the best day that you've ever had in your whole entire life. Oh my gosh, why are you not scrolling? Thank you. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good day.